All right, everybody. Welcome back to Whispers in the Woods. I'm gonna have to get used to saying that every time I start a new campaign. I'm very used to saying all the other ones, like Hearth and Home and Seas of Sand and stuff like that. But whenever we start a new one, I gotta internalize it in my brain to say Whispers in the Woods, or I'll see the green, I think, and start saying Hearth and Home. Yeah. Nevertheless, welcome back to our second session. Some of you have already noticed that we've had an art update for Symbol.
Yeah, I drew that one too.
Very nice.
You should make a new one every session as a joke.
Oh gosh.
That's a lot of work, but it'd be quite a bit of commitment to a bit. I'd respect that that amount of commitment.
Yeah, she's
I
just
would
like
too.
slowly turning her head. It's just tiny bit turned every time.
That'd be terrifying. In like a horror campaign or something, and your character just like every time we go back to this theater of the mind screen, they're looking at slightly more towards the audience.
Yeah.
That'd be creepy.
We should all do it until all four of us are staring dead in the eyes of the audience.
Which is kind of staring at the audience.
Yeah, kinda. So is Draven.
Sybil's technically staring at the audience too. If you notice, I actually gave her pupils this time.
When we go to the maps, I'll blow it up even bigger so they can see.
I see what you're talking about with the smile now. When it looks small on the roll 20, it kind of looks like she's angry. But whenever it's like blown up bigger, I can see it now.
All right, if everybody's back, then we can resume. So, previously on Whispers in the Woods, the party all arrived, each of their own devices, in Sleepy Hills, a small rest stop settlement in the Athentari plains of the kingdom of Kael'Thai-Hera, the Feylands, which is far overseas from mainland Grand Lorien. Each arriving after a long journey to the Feylands, and finding their way to the Gilded Guest Inn in Sleepy Hills, where they became acquainted with each other and eventually waited for the meeting that they were supposed to attend. Each of them had received a series of correspondence from a single man, a wizard, who was looking for more information on the strange symbols that had appeared on the back of each of their hands. And he wanted to see it in person, so he sent them letters and arranged this meeting. Upon arrival, and a brief discussion about each of their experiences when the symbol appeared, and a examination of said symbol by that wizard, Cornifer Creekwood. The meeting was interrupted by a crossbow bolt lodging itself in Cornifer's throat, to which he keeled over dead on the ground. The culprit was a oily, sleazy-looking man with a crossbow in his hand, who shot them a grin and made a motion for his compatriots to attack. And several of the other bar goers turned out to also be affiliated with him and sprung to action and attacked the party as well. After a bit of a harrowing fight in the bar, they managed to defeat their attackers and knock one of them unconscious, who they then questioned. After questioning him, they learned a few things, though that henchman appeared to just be sort of an underling and didn't know a ton of stuff. He was not fully informed on what was going on. He was just given his orders. They found a badge on each of the assassins, and the badge bore the symbol of a swallow, a bird, with a small music note next to its beak. And then they also gained the information that the ones who had fled, the leader and two others, seemed to make their way off to the west of where they were, towards what they were told was the swamp. So after taking a brief respite to patch up some wounds, they gathered some supplies in town, got a little bit of advice on the swamp, and started to make their way slightly south so that they could take a road that headed west into the swamp. After a brief period of walking in the plains, they came across a tree that was felled in the middle of the road, and a merchant who wanted assistance in moving it, as that was a trade road that many merchants used. The party agreed to help, and were rewarded for their efforts of moving this tree out of the way with a small little bead, that sort of a glass bead that crackled with lightning inside of it. After a briefly tense moment with Draven demanding a bit more coin for their efforts, the party gathered up their things and began to head further to the west, which is where we rejoin. With lots and lots of doodles, as you can see. I'm going to zoom out and show them all your drawings. We saw some of these last time.
Now.
We work hard.
I'm going to request that you just doodle on the world map, because if I have to delete all of this after every session, some of these maps need to be reused. Like if you're just like this one's fine because you're just moving to the next map, but if you're doodling on everything, then it's going to be extra work for me.
Just immediately start doodling the second we get to the next map over.
If you want, you can request that I bring you all at the end of each session back to that world map, and then you can doodle there.
Just assume to go there.
All right. So we rejoin you as you continue down these sort of smaller dirt path along the Athentari Plains. To remind you, it is around 5 or 6 in the afternoon, approaching sundown eventually, but still a few hours of daylight left.
Yeah, onward to Fantasy Florida. We got the tents, right?
What's that?
I got the tents in my inventory, right?
Yes, I think you bought 2, right?
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2
Draven
two-person
got one
tents.
and Sybil got one.
Got it. Okay. Then yes, you have the tents. If you guys ever want to add like small items like that to your inventories, you can do so with custom items.
Yeah, I added a tent to mine.
All right.
These things
Perfect.
are pretty heavy.
I'm pretty good at remembering your items, but occasionally, if you want to make sure that you remember them as well, you can add custom items if you're not seeing them, because it's not an item for everything in D&D. All right, so you continue down the path for maybe about 40 minutes of just kind of quiet walking with birds chirping and the wind blowing through the grasses. And eventually you sort of round the top of the hill and can kind of see off into a slightly kind of lower area of the plains. And before you see a large open field. And spread all throughout that field are countless sheep.
Sheep. Nice.
And
But tonight.
they all sort of wander their way
I love
around
them.
as you make your way kind of down this hill towards the open plain. And as you approach, the sheep sort of run away from you. And your attention is drawn by a woman who just sort of shouts at you, "Hey, wait, wait!" as you approach. And just sort of jogs her way over to the group. And slightly out of breath, she stops out in front of you and says, "Last of all, I almost had some of them back in the pen, and then you've gone and scared them all off again."
They already look scared off when we got here.
Yes, perhaps you shouldn't walk them near a road.
Yeah, they seem
Like,
kind of
with
scattered.
Yeah. You can't blame us for this one.
Well, I'm not the one that let them out.
Someone did.
Yes, someone did.
Do you know who?
No, I just came out of my house and all the sheep are everywhere.
You got some hooligans in these parts.
Fine, sorry,
Cool,
here.
Frank.
There you go, sorry.
What's your name, miss?
Realistic.
It's Williamina. And you all.
The name's Wits. Pleasure to meet you.
I am Martos.
I'm Sybil.
Draven.
And Draven. And there's Draven.
And Draven.
Raven.
Well, suppose it's nice to meet you all. I couldn't trouble you to assist in herding the sheep, could I?
I mean,
Animal handling.
can I keep one of the sheep?
Yes, can we assist you in eating them?
Oh, don't eat the sheep.
I was thinking more of a pet, but we can do Draven's idea too. Yeah. I want
Well,
to
Well,
sheep.
well, they're not bulls, so
I do need the sheep for wool, but if you assist me, I could. Well, I don't exactly have all that much gold, but I could give you a modest sum, and well, I do have dinner cooking. I could feed you as well.
I don't believe
Plus
we got
sheep.
to eat at the diner with all the
You didn't.
friends we encountered there. So that would be appreciated if you could feed us.
yeah, and I can go for a bite.
Yes, fine. I suppose we will help.
If I can't have a pet sheep, I guess I could.
Well,
I
thank
don't
you.
think a pet sheep would last long in the alligator swamp, if I'm going to be entirely
It could
honest,
come in
Marcos.
handy. Who knows? Be like, "Whoa, take a sheep, I'm out."
Where are you going, Draven?
He's running away.
I'm getting a wide angle. Pay attention.
Just make sure you move nice and slowly when you don't want them to move, and then just sort of shoo them along when you do want them to move.
And the pen is down south.
She points her head and kind of directs one arm towards the open pen.
All right.
Oh, sorry. I got scrolled
Whoa.
to the pointer.
Well, Draven.
Do we have to be concerned about the ram? The ram kind of looks a little angry.
Okay,
Yes, just watch out for the horns.
Thanks.
so
Alright. Stealth check
Let's-
to get around behind them.
yeah, let's try to pin them. Someone go on the left, someone go on the right, and
Oh,
someone from behind.
I could use a minor illusion to use a loud sound in the north to get them to come down.
Okay, then let's position ourselves on the left and right of the flock. Is it a flock? Flock of sheep? Okay.
A
Um,
herd, maybe?
Herd. Yeah. Draven
What's
and
my-
Wits, okay.
I need to see my range for this.
Williamina has sort of positioned herself to stop them from heading further off to the west. So she's kind of keeping them from moving off this side of the map for you guys.
Alright, I'm gonna get
All right.
behind this tree.
All right, Wits, you duck behind a tree, and
See, I'll probably use it right there.
you can kind of peek around it to aim for a specific location, and you conjure an illusion. What do you want that to be like?
I want it to be like a loud, like wolf sound, like maybe like a wolf barking, to kind of scare them down.
All right.
This tile right here. Oh wait, hang on, I don't think so. Right here.
The rest of you hear a loud, snarling howl ring out, and see a bunch of the sheep immediately begin to run off in this direction.
Nice
Success.
job with.
Draven's just gonna keep pace along this side.
No,
Ah,
it's-
ah, get away, sheep.
Martos, this sheep kind of runs away from the noise off towards you, and then just sort of stops in front of you as you block its
Oh
path.
boy.
Head, arms up,
Marcus,
shake.
thank
Ah!
you.
Which kind of like moves right here to keep them from running back up.
All right. You position yourself sort of to the north. Hold on one moment.
Uh oh.
That's
Not that
never.
bad. I just needed to grab something.
Oh lord.
All right.
The wizard gets surprise attack from the ram and is knocked unconscious.
I'm getting back behind the tree.
All right. Hang on. Where you're standing? Where you're standing, Wits? About here.
Okay.
You hear a bleeding coming from the north.
Wait, what's that?
And as you turn to look off, you can kind of see some trees, kind of like a thicket of trees, as well as a bit of a rock formation that sort of blocks your view. You can hear sort of this soft bleeding coming from beyond it.
One get separated when you made the noise.
I didn't think there were any more up here, unless if they got way up there.
Okay, can I shout over to Lamina? Exactly how many sheep did you have in the first place?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She shouts back, 10 sheep and 2 rams.
Well,
Oh,
Yes,
we're
these
the
peasants
same.
can't count above 10, so if there was an extra, she might not know.
that means there's another ram up there, probably.
Yeah, let's get these last few stragglers into the pen and then go look for it.
What's that sheep up doing over there by Martos? I remember you said it bumped into her, but what's it doing now?
It's just sort of like, every once in a while it attempts to kind of go around you. And then you sort of
Pick it
like
up.
sidle back and forth to block it. And then it kind of turns around, it chews on some grass for a moment, it thinks that maybe you're not looking this time and tries it again. And then you block its path again. Yeah, I didn't want to fall asleep, Jable, too. That's why I didn't count them before.
Ha ha ha.
All right.
Funny joke.
Between the two of you, Marto's kind of progressing more towards this direction, and Wit's kind of coming around from behind. This sheep begins to make its way off in this direction to avoid both of you.
I love the sheep tokens.
They
Alright,
look
so
very
we'll-
soft.
They do.
Yes?
You can make it animal handling if you want.
Okay. Animal handling to herd these all back into the pen.
Yeah, to do some more effective herding. you go.
Okay. Oh, that wasn't horrible. Is
Alright.
it connected to roll 20? Oh, I'm on my brother's computer.
You might
That
not
was
have
a
the.
17.
Perfect,
That was
okay.
a 17.
Yeah, I see it. I saw it in the other. Yeah.
All right. It always makes me laugh when the extension has when you bring up the info on something like illusion, where it just.
You want me to send you the link to the extension, or do you? Are you gonna be fine?
We can be
I'm-
fine for just this
I'm just
session.
gonna wait
It's not
till
a big-
next session.
It's not the
Okay.
end.
I don't want to download anything on just.
So just Sybil, just make sure you tell me some numbers if I ask, just let me know.
All right.
All right, Sybil. You sort of make your way calmly towards the sheep, and they seem to be following your direction a little better than just sort of chasing them around. So where would you like them to go?
I would like them to go. A little ruler. In here.
All right. As you make your way along, just sort of progressing this way, they follow your lead,
Sorry.
and most of them begin to make their way back towards the pen. As you sort of walk along with them and guide them back towards the pen.
What about this fellow over here?
Completely ignored him.
I think he ignored the sound too.
Poke him with a stick.
Nah, too squishy.
I'm gonna poke him with a stick.
Go for it.
Idea. I wouldn't do that.
You know what? You sounded very fearful, so I think I'm gonna listen. I'm not gonna poke it with a stick.
All right. As you guide them, Sybil, most of the sheep begin to make their way back into the pen.
A lot of tokens.
Leaving just a few stragglers who didn't quite get guided with the group that you were. Wilhelmina guides this one back in. Leaving just a couple near you, Draven, and the ram that's sort of stamping at the ground and lowering its head at you and Martos. So it's...
I am going to take my great axe out and use the little wooden end of the stick, start poking it towards the little fence. Go.
I'm gonna back up.
Okay. It sort of lowers its horns and tries to kind of butt heads with you as you use the blunt end of the axe to sort of push it. So make a strength check for me.
It wasn't good. Oh wait, that's a save. Hold on.
Yeah, check. So roll again.
Click. Still wasn't that good.
All right. Not terrible, not great. So you sort of collide with it, and it sort of pushes your axe away and sort of runs off in this direction. Not exactly where you wanted it to go, but
What's
Oi!
what's
Oi!
all right.
What to do here?
You catch the ram's attention and it lowers its horns at you.
Oh fuck.
he a strong little fucker.
Oi, Martos. I'm not very experienced with animals here. You might wanna come take my place, maybe?
Oh no. He's already locked on you. It's too late for you. Just take it. Take it.
Alright,
Both of you,
Let's do here.
the two of you can attempt a strength check together if you wish.
Alright. I guess we'll have to do a strength check.
Shit.
So
Like-
both of you roll strength, and
Oh, fuck.
I'll add your numbers together,
Oh no.
and I will contest it with the rams. All right, ram didn't roll great. So Martos, make
Yeah.
another strength.
Shit.
Perfect. All right. Your combined strength, you manage to sort of, Wits, you're sort of holding the horns from headbutting anybody, as Martos takes most of the brunt of the force of the ram, and the two of you can kind of push it where you want it to go now. And I'm assuming you want it to go south, so you sort of wrestle your way along with the ram and push it along slowly but surely back to the pen.
That was successful.
Good work, Martos. That trio there was a fluke on my part.
It's okay. It's okay. You deal magic.
Yes, I've been having a staring contest with these two. If anyone would like to assist me, I will help them in the pen.
You haven't done anything but stared. You can handle 2.
Excuse me, I've
I'm gonna sit
guarded
down.
this side of the
Ops,
road so they
Draven?
wouldn't run away.
Hmm.
All right, let's all surround the sheep and then have Draven push him in.
There you go, Draven. You have fun.
Yes, someone get over here. Where
No,
I
no.
am.
You there. Push them forward.
Draven's gonna walk up and just kind of like use his hand to just kind of tap the sheep on its backside and just hope that it goes.
It starts to run away, and then Williamina kind of stops it on the other end, and it turns off in the only direction it can go.
Yes, yes, go back to your home.
You do the same thing with this one, and it runs off, but Sybil and Wilhelmina are in the way, and so it turns again with no way to go north from Wits, and makes its way back into the pen. After which, Wilhelmina quickly shuts the gate and wipes some sweat off her forehead and says, "Well,
Jeez, what?
is that sort of? You see her count them all. Hang on, there's still one missing.
One of the ram.
The other ram. Yep.
The
come on,
other
let's go,
ram.
guys.
We heard it up north. We'll go get it for you, all right?
All right.
All right, let's go get this filthy bugger.
All right. You turn away from the pen and make your way north towards this sort of thicket of trees off in front of you. A little more dense than you're used to seeing in the plains here. And so as you progress into the thicket of trees, your surroundings sort of darken slightly from the leaf coverage. And out in front of you is a large rock formation that sort of blocks your way. And you have to sort of make your way slightly off to the left to go around it. But as you progress, you can hear this sort of soft bleating as you make your way towards it. Let me just copy this for 1 second. Okay, there we go. All right. So with your surroundings getting slightly darker, both from the time of day and from the foliage around you, you make your way around the rock formation.
Oh. Mm-mm.
Martos, freeze for a second. Freeze.
No, no.
All right.
Mm-mm.
As you turn the corner around the rocks, you see several things. First thing you see is a ram facing away from you, and it faces a pile of sticks. And as you look at the sticks, you see that they've been sort of twisted and built into a shape, a sort of altar, if you will, and lashed with vines to sort of hold them together. And the ram facing away from you just stares at the altar. And placed atop this sort of bundle of sticks, sort of sitting right at the center and on top, is a skull. It appears to be human, and you can see some sort of dried blood that sort of cakes the skull. What would you like to do?
Is
Uh,
freaking terrified of
Mm-mm.
that.
Draven would
I'll
like to
walk
call out.
backwards. I'll
Yes.
call out.
Who's a good boy? Come along.
Oh.
No.
The ram ignores you and continues to stare off in the other direction.
We should poke him with a stick. Draven,
Feel
poke him with
free.
a stick.
Feel free, Martis.
I
No,
do
no,
not
no.
wield a
I
stick.
volunteer
go
Draven. Poke it with a dagger. Poke it. I dare you. It's a dare you.
Maybe this is one big misunderstanding.
Yeah, Draven. A quiet cheer for Draven. Stick.
Excuse me, Mr. Ram.
All right, Draven. As you approach, you can see this altar better. The skull has something affixed to it in the bottom half, sort of replacing the teeth and bottom jaw. And they're sort of wrapped around the stick and sort of formed into this idol, if you will. So rather than a bottom jaw and sort of top teeth, this skull has organs, meat, flesh, sort of tattered, hanging off of the skull like ripped up, tattered cloth.
Yes, I do believe this is some sort of sacrificial place. It seems to be organs around the skull.
Yeah, you still want to poke it?
No one cares?
No, I want you to poke it.
You want me to poke the ram?
Draven,
or the statue?
I got your back, Draven.
I believe in y'all. Give you
Yes,
the
and
thumbs up.
what is the logic behind this poking it? What do you hope to achieve?
Anger it.
You're just a poke.
Draven steps up and pokes the ram with his finger.
All right, 1 second.
Uh-oh.
I have a feeling. Good.
As you poke it, your finger kind of sinks a little too deep into it to have hit flesh. There's sort of rotting, congealed flesh instead of where skin would normally be. And as you do so, the ram turns around to face you, and you get a good look at it for the first time. Its head has sort of rotted away, leaving only eyes and a skull, and flies buzzing around it.
Oh, I guess
Yes.
you've been missing a damn ram.
I do
Let's
believe
just
this
burn
one
it.
has expired.
Well, I don't know how useful of a ram that beats that farmer down there, so I don't know if this is really worth it.
Want to live close to that thing.
What does it smell like? Are you sniffing it?
It smells
Smell it.
like
Why don't you come up here and check it out yourself?
no,
I believe
I'll
I've done
check
enough
it.
investigating.
you all can smell it from there. Don't worry. It smells like a corpse that's been left out for several days.
All right, well, time to go get some good grub.
It needs to die. We need to put it out of its misery.
I definitely need to die. Yeah, I'm with you.
It
on that
is
one.
sort of softly bleeding, as if it is in pain.
All right.
Okay. Kill the ram.
I don't think a meal
good
is
deed.
worthy enough to deal with this.
No, you got smited.
I also don't think I'd be able to leave this scene in very good conscience.
All right, Draven, target practice. Throw a knife.
Do it,
I
Drake.
have a sling.
Why do I have to be the one to initiate these things? You all are
Because
capable
you're
of
not
fighting.
very helpful with the sheep.
Yeah, you had to deal with this one.
And we're
Excuse me,
scared.
I was very capable in the
Um,
bar fight that we had previously. So
I
what
don't
if I'm
recall.
not competent herding sheep? That is peasant work.
Oh, we gotta
Oh,
hurry.
you're a peasant. Do it.
I refuse.
I rolled to hit the
Ow.
sheep,
Mm-mm.
and I
Alright.
rolled 7.
What are you trying
Which is
to?
not good.
Good. That's not good, no.
What are you
With
trying
the
to hit it
sling,
with?
The sling.
It's with the sling.
With the
Okay.
sling.
Then the stone that you placed in your sling sails off and clatters against one of the rocks behind it. The ram does not react; it just stares at the group of you.
He seems eerily peaceful for dying.
Like he's fighting with some demons right now, you know? He's doing his own thing. We should just go.
I think we should kill this ram and put it out of its misery, and then smash whatever the In the 9 hells, that is. If Grand Lorraine has the 9 hells,
We call them the Infernal Circles.
the Infernal Circles, send that thing to them.
But why? What is it doing wrong?
Being dead.
Perhaps he's just.
What is wrong with being dead?
This doesn't look very happy being dead.
I'm throwing my hand axe.
Alright, go ahead.
Oh, I did.
Oh, I think I insulted Draven.
Okay. You hit, roll your
Thank you.
damage. Roll your damage, Martos.
Oh, that was the great axe. Hand axe. Okay.
Alright. Your hand axe lodges into the side of the ram. And, sticks there. And the ram just continues to stare.
All right,
I
Matos,
feel very good about this.
I'm not getting that axe back this time. You're gonna have to get that on your own.
I don't feel good about. He just took an axe. I was like, yeah.
He's simply minding his own business. Why do you have to accost him?
I feel like
We aim for the altar.
Hey,
Oh,
back.
fuck!
I'm gonna step back. Don't take your eyes off it. Oh my god. Maybe take your eyes off it.
The ram just sort of calmly walks towards you.
I'm gonna pet it.
Draven steps forward. I apologize for my companions, if you can call
Talking
them
to a
that.
dead goat.
Alright. Suddenly, the ram charges you.
Alright.
All right.
Is that initiative?
The ram is going to make an attack on you, and then that will be initiative.
Okay.
If you want it to be initiative, you don't have to fight back if you don't want to.
We can go into initiative, because I think some people here do want to fight, but we'll play
A
that.
single undead goat,
Kill the
or
demon.
ram.
Alright. The ram charges you, Draven. But you manage to get your shield in the way. And it slams against it, kind of pushing you ever so slightly back, but you hold fast and don't take any damage.
Whoa there, boy. I don't mean any harm.
You can roll initiative if you want.
Did a nice pet.
It's okay. I didn't want a high roll anyway.
The 13.
And what's with an 8? Let's roll around. Alright, Sybil. You see the ram charge Draven, but he manages to block it and is sort of bracing his arm against it. And you are next to act.
Okay, I can't move and use a staff in the same turn, right? That's 2 actions.
No, movement is its own thing, so you can move as much as you want and still use an action.
Okay.
Moving does not use an action unless you're choosing to dash, which doubles your movement, but consumes an action unless you're a rogue or something like that.
I'm gonna... That's...
Yeah, you can move through your allies, but not through your enemies. So you just have to say, "I'm coming through," and they'll move out of the way for you.
Yep. Anyway, Sybil, really quick dashes past Draven, and she attempts to hit the ram with her staff using Shalala.
Okay.
And I rolled a nat 20. Bang! Okay.
That looks
And
wonderful.
Okay.
for damage,
What your damage?
that is a 5.
Bonk.
Ouch.
I bonk it on the head with Shalala.
All right. You crack it over the head. Yeah, just did it double roll for you?
Double roll.
Because I'm not seeing, since I can't see your roll 21s.
Yeah.
Just make sure that it. Let me check the log.
I quarterstaff to hit was a 20, and Shalala damage was a 5.
Yeah, but when you crit, you roll your damage dice twice and then add your mod.
Oh, dang. So,
So you should be doing a bit more damage. The 5 seemed a bit low, which is why me and
Five.
Sarah were sketched out by that.
okay, so that's
So just roll a
Wait,
d8 and then we'll add it again.
it's an 8. That's an 8 then. 8.
All right. Then your hit is a little heavier. So you bring your staff down, charged and glowing with a soft green light from Shillelagh, and crack the ram over the skull, and the bone sort of crumbles beneath your staff, and it falls over.
Good bonk.
Oh, it was a good
Sorry,
idea to kill the
Draven.
ram, actually.
All right, 1 second.
You were all monsters.
I didn't do anything.
With a
What if I
cave,
Okay, you're not a
Body
monster, Wits.
and it
My
came out.
apologies.
No,
With
I
a-
am a monster.
with a caved-in skull, the ram stands back up.
No!
Yeah, see, something's not right about this. I don't think
Okay,
we should kill
guys,
it.
guys. What if we aim for the altar? What if that's keeping it alive right now?
It's a great idea.
I like your thinking.
So killing the
It
creature
might
is not
also
enough.
make a deity extremely pissed at us, but okay.
Now you want to destroy its home.
Draven. Look at this. Look at this ram and tell me that it is happy in its current state. Do you think this ram has good quality of life, Draven?
Well, who's to say? We've only just met it.
I don't think Dickwad cares.
Excuse me, I care
I said
quite a
what I said.
bit.
No, obviously you don't.
I am
And
sorry
I am
that we're killing
advocating
the
on the
ram,
ram's
but I
behalf.
do not think the ram. I do not think the ram is very happy. And it's. I don't think this is good for the farmer. I don't think this is good for the ram. I think the ram needs a little good night bonk.
So this is what you think, your opinions,
Alright.
that you are pushing onto the ram's lifestyle.
It is
Right.
The ram
Martos'
is
turn.
an animal. It can
Unless you want to do anything else, Sybil, it's Martos' turn.
Okay.
Draven, look, I'm willing to bet that that wasn't how it originally was. So I'm not exactly sure of its quality of life at the moment.
Yes, I understand. It's just I'm used to killing animals as prey in the forest and feeding upon them. So nothing is wasted.
Well,
Here, we are killing an animal for what?
you could be more welcome to eat it after we kill it. I'll pass, but you know, you can go for it.
Wits. I could not get as drunk enough as you might to eat this thing.
Is that a challenge?
Sure.
Some problems,
I
issues y'all need to figure out.
Martos, watch out, moving out of a 5-foot
Um,
range of it.
The ram ignores you as you make your way past it, Martos.
Okay.
I was like, oh shit. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna.
You can make it right up to the altar if you want, from your distance. Because you just be moving diagonally, so you're fine. You can make it all the way up to it if you really want to.
Up on it.
Yeah,
That was a
it's in this
call.
space, so you can hit it from there.
Do I have to roll to hit?
Against
the-
objects, you
hit
do,
my-
but like immobile objects usually have really low ACs. So,
No.
all right, you hit it. Roll damage.
Yay! I'm smacking that skull with the floor.
Alright. You aim right for the skull, and the skull looks kind of old and sort of caked in grime. And you bring your axe down on the center of it and sort of cleave it right in half, and it shatters into pieces. The wood along with it, as the altar kind of falls apart under the weight of your axe.
Did anything, guys? How's the sheep looking?
Draven and Sybil, the ram in front of you collapses.
Well, go work.
Yes, congratulations, everyone.
Anyone have a tinderbox?
I do.
We should probably give it a send off.
Killing an innocent ram and desecrating its home. Good
It doesn't
job.
look very innocent.
I don't think we can give it a more fitting burial, Draven.
If you want, you could say a prayer while we do it. If you really want it to be a ceremonial.
Dear Ram, we had a very fearful 5 minutes with you, but I think that in your life, you were probably pretty happy, frolicking in the fields, and eating clover and thistles and such.
And
And I hope that wherever you are, it's closer to that than this.
or you're in hell, because you have. a
Or
ritual
it's eating
going on.
clovers. I prefer to
have
think
fun.
it's eating clovers.
Ram, I apologize that you were looked at differently simply because you were undead, and that others sought to eliminate you. And I hope that in your afterlife, you become a specter and seek vengeance upon them.
Draven, as you're giving your little speech, Martos is just pulling her axe out of the ram with
Oh,
a
God.
squelching noise.
Ram, I'm sorry, Draven's an idiot. But wherever you are now is much better than you were before. Have anything to say, Martos?
Well, you weren't a good fighter, so an orc, you don't mean shit. But good luck with your life and all that. All right, good game, guys. Let's go.
Witz uses his tinderbox to set it on fire.
Alright. Might be difficult to just set it entirely on fire. You might need a bit of assistance for it.
Mm.
Fix the skull.
Dry leaves.
Well, while we're here, we should also burn this altar.
We probably should.
Balcony, you've missed so much.
I take the skull of this dead sheep before we
Oh
burn
god.
it.
Okay.
Sivania?
Sybil is
What
going to fetch some dry leaves to help it burn better.
The skull is still pretty fleshy inside.
I'm gonna start hacking
is-
away. I'm gonna get that back. I'm like, I want that. I'm getting it. Hacking away.
Alright.
Just get my fingers in there, like scoop it out. Be like, yeah, this is nice.
Witz comes over here and uses the tinderbox on the remains of the altar to make sure it's destroyed.
Draven's
The
just gonna
altar
prop against the wall and just grimace at what Martos is doing.
the altar is old dried wood and burns pretty easily.
And then Witz like takes one of the sticks of it that's on fire with it, kind of like a torch, so he can help set the ram on fire.
Okay.
You got some leaves, Sybil?
Jade, did I get some leaves?
Yeah, there's be plenty of sort of fallen dried leaves around.
Okay. I just dump an armful on top of the ram.
And then Witz kind of like stab, or not really stabs it, I guess, but just holds the inflamed part of the wood against the leaves.
Alright. With Sybil's efforts, you manage to light the ram on fire, and it just kind of slowly burns. The flies that were buzzing around it kind of disperse from the flames and buzz off to other directions.
Well, our job here is done. So we'll get something to eat.
I got a new skull.
I don't know how long you want to keep that, but you go right ahead.
I'd
I
be
feel
careful
like
about
you need to show it.
that skull, Martos.
No,
You
no,
might
it's
want
mine now.
to do an Arcana check on it later.
I possess the demon now that controlled that damn ram. It's mine.
I wouldn't mess around with demons.
Come on. Prove it. Use it on Draven.
Draven, put this on real fast.
No.
You did seem to like it.
Connected on like a spiritual level there. Like you were the sheep.
To,
You got some problems you gotta work out.
to clarify, Marchos, there is still sort of flesh and some other matter within the skull. It will take a little bit of
It
work
with my
to
hand?
to clean it out.
Okay, well I'm gonna be scooping it with my hands as we walking.
All right.
Have a little trail lead back.
Chat.
other rams.
Smokey the Bear is going to be so mad at me.
Which kind of like makes sure he kind of
We're
keeps.
not gonna set
Martos
on fire, are we?
I don't know. Are you?
Okay. As the druid of the party, it is my responsibility to ensure that we do not cause any forest fires.
Fires up.
Nature check.
Go ahead.
How do I stop that from happening?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll tell you how if you roll a nature check.
That's a 20.
Easy. All right. Sybil, your instincts kick in. There are plenty of stones around here that you could gather up relatively quickly and sort of pile around both of the fires to stop the fire from spreading.
All right, good job, Fire Marshal Sybil.
Boys pee on it too. It would help.
Well, then I'll go out before it's done.
Pardon me. You must have never peed on a fire then. If you
Excuse
would
me?
recommend such a thing.
I am a girl. I cannot squat over a fire. My bun. will
Yes,
get toasty.
indeed. It smells quite awful.
Well, it already smells awful here, sir.
Okay, Jay, are both fires neutralized?
If you're trying to put them out, you can. But if you want them to keep burning but not spread, you can do that as well. Either
I
or,
want
with
them
a roll
to
at high.
keep burning but not spread.
Okay, then you stack rocks kind of all around to keep it from spreading to any other foliage. The rocks here kind of help as well. So you're able to kind of create a border around the fire to stop it from spreading. You feel
Alright.
you feel pretty confident that it won't.
Okay. Let's go and deliver that shepherdess? Give her the bad news.
Horrible sheep lady. Let's go.
Not horrible. She didn't do anything mean to us.
How long did she have this sheep out here to turn like this?
She was very
Alright.
good at counting them.
Can't even count.
The four of you turn your way back towards the plains and walk for a few minutes out back towards the shepherdess's fields. The sky around you kind of brightening as you leave the foliage. Yeah, get rid of that. There you go. Thanks for the subs, Jay Bulger and Balcony. And you walk back across the plains towards the pen, where the shepherdess is just sort of tending to the sheep and making sure that they're locked up tight. She turns around as you approach and says, she kind of looks at each of you and then sort of notices that there's no ram with you and says, where's the other? Trails off.
They slew him.
Your ram crossed the Rainbow Bridge.
You killed it?
Yes,
no,
those.
It's already
Yes,
dead.
they slew
Okay,
him.
Okay.
No,
Here's your
don't
skull.
regret it.
Listen, wait. You might want to look into some sort of protection or something, because someone appears to have set up a dark ritual center north of your house.
As you talk,
And
our eyes are just kind of widening more
animated-
and more.
It animated your ram. I would talk to the guard, or move, or do something that would put distance between you and undead rams
No.
in your future.
Yeah, I'll just move. You know.
Well, I can't just up and move. My whole livelihood's here.
Okay, well, do you want the
Well-
ram skull? Just gonna hold it out to her like, you want this?
She sort of recoils from it. Ugh.
Yes, you cannot up and move. Perhaps you should become more accommodating to undead rams, or undead in particular.
I would not. I think Draven's undead. That's why he's saying this. Don't mind him.
Heavens no!
Done with
I'm a
the
lunar
ram's
elf.
consent, Draven.
Draven got some problems.
I don't
He's
think the
working out.
ram consented to being a walking pile of rot.
Yes,
There
I
was
hear
no
a lot of.
consent.
Clean transition in life, Draven.
Yes, I hear a lot of I think and I feel, and not any facts.
Look, Ram, I'm gonna
Would
stay
you like to be a rotting meat husk? Like
gonna tell
literally
you-
rotting maggots.
long before we got there.
Could be a good life.
All right, you
Look.
go to it then.
You think one thing about the ram's quality of life, I think a different thing. Personally, I would prefer to have been euthanized, and that is what I did.
Yes, you're a
I
ram
do
killer.
not think
We're all proud of you.
it was a good I don't think it was having a fun time, and I don't know what your problem is with killing the husk of a ram, which clearly was not happy, but okay.
Sybil, the shepherdess places her hand on your shoulder and says, I don't think any of my sheep would be very happy as undead, so thank you.
That means fuck off, Draven.
Yes, think. I heard think again. No one ever speaks to animals. Finds out what they really think.
One needs to.
Well, you should have asked it.
Well,
But not
We think
powerful
we
enough
did meet
yet.
it seemed like it was in pain. Remember? The bleeding and the shaking, and I don't think it was. I think it needed some painkillers at the very least, Draven.
the others can confirm it did look like it was in pain.
Sorry, Draven.
Wait,
I think I
it
outvoted
looked
on
like
this
what?
one.
What'd you say, Jay?
It did, in fact, look like it was in pain.
Okay.
Sybil is correct.
Yes, fine, fine. I will concede I was wrong on this one.
So the skull, you want it?
What? No, of course not. You hacked it off the corpse. You keep it.
Matos, you might want to put that in your bag. I don't think the nice lady here wants to see that.
If I wear it, I
well-
kind of want to wear it. I'm gonna sit down and start scooping out the guts of it.
With all
Give me a
the
minute.
Which kind of like gets over here to stand in front of her so the lady doesn't see Marta scooping out the flesh of her dead
But
ram.
you can hear it, it's like.
No, maybe use a minor illusion to block the sound.
with all the sheep back safe, I imagine you might be a little hungry. I can give you supper if you wish.
I could use a
Appreciate that
bite.
very much. Thank you
I
so
could
much.
wash my
ma'am.
hands somewhere.
Okay.
Well, I could bring a pitcher of water out for you.
I'm gonna need a minute. I'm not done scooping this.
Yes, I would prefer if the skull stayed outside.
Maybe Matos, if you want to keep scooping, we could bring your meal out. You can just eat out here.
We got a pitcher of water too, so I can wash my little hands.
Right. Then she leads you all, with the exception of Martos, inside. Ooh, tiny.
Small.
A giant's house.
I am small.
I'm used to the tokens being big when you copy paste them. You guys are tiny. Alright. She brings you inside. And says, make yourselves comfortable. Motions towards the table.
Which just takes a seat.
Alright. The shepherdess's house is just sort of a very humble and small abode.
Nice
Uh,
little home you got here.
No, real quick. I'm using a mouse pad, so I can't get there.
Can't hold
I'm
on.
kind of standing next to it.
I gotcha.
Thank you, Jay.
Lovely house you got here, ma'am.
It's not much, but it's comfortable.
That's more than I have at home.
And she goes about preparing some food. Part of the way through, she brings you a pitcher of water and says, "You can use this to wash your hands outside if you want." Draven,
Alright.
I'm assuming you're leaning against this.
Just leans against everything. And I know it's right. So, well, you need to wash your hands real quick before I go and bring it to Matos.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
And he kind of pushes the pitcher across the table.
Sybil just quickly washes her hands and pushes it back over.
Right, to the best of your abilities, you clean your hands off a bit.
Draven, need to clean?
Indeed.
He picks up and he gets up, I guess. Anyway. Alright, I'll go bring the rest of Martis.
Alright, Wits, you make your way outside to Martos.
Oi, Martis! You wash?
I'm almost done scooping this head out.
Maybe just pour it out in your hands. Maybe don't put your hands in the pitcher.
Yeah, I can just like pour it. Well, hold on. How close am I to getting this head cleaned out? I'm all weird. This.
About 3/4 of the way done.
Just leave the pitcher. I'm gonna be a minute.
Alright. Which
Alright.
kind of says,
Oh, as you place it down, I'm just gonna caress your little hand with my nasty little hand. Like, thank you.
which just tries to look away while speed walking back to the house.
Alright, you make your way back inside.
Alright, she's gonna be a minute.
Alright, I'll continue getting dinner ready. Well, I suppose it's a little grim, but all I have is mutton. It's not from my sheep, it's just all the grocer had.
Mutton sounds
I'll
just
eat
nice.
anything. I'll eat anything now.
Yes, I'll take mine rare.
Alright. And she begins to kind of cook, and as she does, sort of chopping vegetables and preparing the meal, she sort of asks you sort of casually, so where are you lot headed, actually? Looked like you were headed towards the swamp.
We were going to search the area for something we needed.
Yeah, you don't happen to know anything about the swamp, eh?
Mostly stay away from it myself.
That's fair.
Anything in there that would cause you to avoid it in particular?
Mm,
We heard about crocodiles.
Can't wait to see
Yeah.
them buggers.
hear all sorts of stories. Definitely heard about the crocodiles. Heard stories about leeches in the waters, and well, all manner of beasts.
What kind of beast?
Well, no real descriptions. They just say that merchants who head through there, occasional one disappears, and well, they don't know what caused it.
Well, not everyone can be a fighter.
Yes, stories seem to all agree that swamp's a bit dangerous, so I steer clear.
Out of
Kind of
character, yeah.
swamp.
Florida's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, Florida.
Anyone of... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. What's on the other side of the swamp, though, Wilhelmina?
Well, I think just more forest. I haven't done much traveling in my life.
Anyone noteworthy passed through here?
Well, what kind of time frame are you talking about?
I'd say within the last day or two.
Well, I was inside most of earlier today, so didn't really see anyone pass by. Just
I
heard
see.
the sheep bleating out in the yard and ran out, and well, they were everywhere, as you saw.
Wait a minute. When did that ram you lost get out? It was in a extended state of decay when we found it. That probably wouldn't match up with it having gotten out a couple days ago or
Well,
today.
the ram was in the pen yesterday when I went to sleep, but I had no idea after then.
Which uses message to tell Sybil something because he doesn't want to alarm the lady.
Alright. Sybil, you hear Witz's voice echo in your head.
Perhaps that's something to do with the hooded figure that was with the guy who killed Kunifa at the tavern.
Hmm. Can I reply back without her hearing me?
Yes, you get one reply from his messages.
Yeah, and I'm just watching you guys stare at each other after he pointed at you.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not incredibly enthused about what we're going to find in this swamp. You think it could be, devil worshippers or wizards or something like that? Necromancers?
I'll use message again so I can.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
It's a cantrip. It's a cantrip,
Yep,
so there's
yep,
no penalty.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Uh,
I will assume that your conversation is in messages from now on until you tell me it's not. Okay.
okay.
That'll streamline it.
I just don't want to alarm the lady of us talking about necromancy.
Of course. She just kind of sees that there's a bit of an awkward silence in the room and just kind of goes back to cooking.
Perhaps so. We'll have to be very careful and stay on our toes when we get in the swamp.
As a simple, you can reply.
Okay, I don't think I have anything else to say.
You just kind of nod to let Woods know that you're just. Not
Yeah,
gonna say
I just
anything.
nod. Sybil just nods. Sorry.
Yeah, so the way that those sort of message conversations have to happen, so what's the point that you have to do? You do have to point at the person, but it can be subtle.
Okay.
You just
kinda
kind of
just
point
point
in their
under the
general
table.
direction. You can do it under the table. You can do all sorts of stuff like that. Doesn't need to be this big obvious point. Just for your own picture, your own mental image. And the way that those conversations have to go is that they have to be back and forth. So Sybil can't just keep talking and talking. She has to reply, and then you have to cast again, and then she has to reply. So they do have to be back and forth conversations. Just so you're aware for the future. Now, Sybil, you don't have to reply if you want to end the conversation, but I'm just saying that he has to recast every time he's doing it, and then she can reply.
I think
Yeah.
that's a cantrip.
Understood.
Okay. So your conversation just sort of fades, and you stop staring at each other across the table. And Williamina spends the next maybe 20-ish minutes preparing the meal. Is there anything else that the rest of you would like to do? During this time, Martos, you finish cleaning off the skull.
Oh, is Martis gonna come in here?
Oh yeah, I'm putting the picture on and cleaning out, and we'll put the skull on and just walk up in the house.
Draven, you might want to trip her when she walks in.
All right. The door opens, and Martos enters with a ram's skull on her head.
Look,
This
guys,
is
the
tasteful.
horn's back.
Woods turns around. Martos, what the hell?
Yes,
Into her house, Martos.
I did wash it out. My hands are still very dirty because I used all the water, but
I will be a little more considerate to our
wash his
host.
hands?
I
Martos,
didn't have time. I ran out of water, and it was all very dirty from you little fingers in it.
covering your face suits you.
Thank you. I got my horns back. It really makes me.
The shepherdess just sort of looks you up and down, Martos, with the skull, and just kind of under her breath, Draven, you hear her say, "Oh well, that's all very grim," and just sort of busies herself returning to dinner.
I think I may have offended her.
I think you have. You might want to put that in your bag.
I'm wearing it. Should I say sorry though? I'm not taking it off. I'm not really sorry. I'm not gonna say sorry. I'm not sorry.
Wits just kind of sighs and just starts looking in his little spell book to try to ignore the fact that Martos is wearing a dead skull head.
All right, well, supper, it's almost ready. So if you want to, she looks at you, Draven. If you want to take a seat at the table.
Yes.
Nice. Over the course of a few trips, she brings each of you a plate of mutton with vegetables. Draven, yours is a little more rare than the others.
Lovely.
And she just sort of asks, "Is that how you like it?" As you cut into it.
Yes, raw is fine as well, but rare is preferable in front of others.
He made you cook his mutton a certain way?
Yes, well, he put it in a request. Was there something that you wanted as well?
No, I'm wearing a lamb's head. He's asking special things to be cooked. There's gonna be one dick in this group.
Yes, Martos, it is rare. It took less time to cook than the others, so it
You're
was
fancy.
less of a inconvenience.
You shouldn't eat the freaking.
Which
Okay.
kind of just speaks up. Can y'all two just hush up, and you're being kind of impolite to our host.
He was
Side eye. Side eye.
The shepherdess just sort of leans against the counter and eats her own meal as the rest of you dig in.
I'm only gonna slightly lift my skull off my head, just so my mouth is out. And I'm just gonna dig in as I am blinded.
Which has utterly given up on trying to get Martis to get the skull off, so he just pretends it's not there.
I am Skull. Skull is me.
Sybil's just eating.
Eats and
Draven's picking up the mutton with both hands and just tearing it off with his mouth. And any blood that gets on his fingers, he'll lick off his fingers one by one.
which thinks as a
Sybil,
human,
stop
maybe he's made a
eating.
mistake.
Sybil stops eating. Oh my gosh.
Which questions his decisions leading up to this moment. Specifically, the fact that he sat in a chair where Draven's adjacent to him.
Right. So you can consider this meal if you want to, over the course of her preparing it, as well as Marto's kind of carving the skull, and then you eating the meal. You can consider this a short rest, though there isn't really much to recover.
I don't think I have anything to recover.
Yeah, me neither.
I didn't think there was, but it is technically a short rest, so I thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take a couple-minute break, and I'll be right back. Just gonna grab more water.
All right, I'll be back
Sounds good.
too.
I think I will also take this opportunity to get more water. I'll see you guys in a bit too.
Chat, how are you guys doing? All right. Sleepy? But good? All right. That's good. Sorry, you're not allowed to sleep until after the stream's over. Okay?
Alright, sorry guys, I'm back. What's going on?
I'm back. I don't know how many others are.
I'm back too.
I'm back.
I'm here.
Oh,
Okay.
well.
Okay, well, that's everybody then. All right. So you spend some time eating your meal and filling your bellies, and eventually you've all cleaned your plates, maybe not realizing how hungry you were after all the excitement of the day. And it's now around 7:30ish, kind of approaching sundown through the windows, you can see.
Well, we both have 2% tents, so would it be okay if we camped in your pasture as opposed to the swamp?
Well, yes, I don't see any reason why not. It's certainly probably more safe than the taking the night in the swamp.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm not very enthused about the idea of having something rip into the tent as we sleep, so thank
Yeah,
you.
and don't worry, we'll make sure to clean up after ourselves when we're done.
All right, well, I'd be grateful for that.
Thank you for the
Sure.
meal.
Yes, it was quite nice.
Well, thank you all for your help.
Yeah, and apologies about your ram.
Yes,
It's such a sad thing.
And apologies about Martis.
Yeah, she's nicer than she appears, I promise.
Putting good use to the skull.
yes, I see. She just sort of looks uncomfortable as Martos leaves with the skull on.
Give her a big thumbs up as I walk out.
All right. Then you make your way back out into the pastures, with the sun sort of beginning to lower in the sky. It's a little darker out, a little colder as well.
Those sheep are quite noisy. Perhaps we should set up camp on the ritual altar side of the road.
No, thank you. We're
Good, yeah,
not
I'll
doing
sleep.
that. How about we sleep
Be nice.
in this little copse of trees? And safety
But
and
it's so
security.
noisy.
Then you can sleep somewhere else.
Draven,
well,
you can camp in the Nightmare
alright.
of Hellwoods if you want, but I'm staying here.
Okay. Draven has one of the two-person tents, by the way.
One of the two.
Yeah, Sybil you have the other.
Yeah,
We both bought a
call
two-person
dibs on
tent
Sybil.
each.
you split them up,
Okay.
yeah.
Girls 10.
With this size and says, alright, fine.
Poor thing.
Wits,
Wits.
I have no problem with you sleeping in the same tent. However, you do not snore, do you?
Nah, do you snore?
Of course not.
Alrighty.
Well, do you snore?
I said nah.
Okay, just making sure. Draven will begin setting up the tent.
All right.
They are also setting up our tent.
Here you go. Here's something kind of similar. Oh, too long.
Long tent.
There you go. Here's your tent.
Jeez, that's a two-person tent.
Get in the tent.
Where I'm from, that's an 8-person tent.
There you go. You spend some time setting up the tents as the sun sets around you. And within the tents, there's enough room for two of you. And well, that's appropriate. I like how you can see the girls' name tags sticking out.
We can just kind of peek out a little bit.
Okay. So if anyone wants to do anything before they sleep, it's not quite nighttime yet. It's sort of sundown. So you do have a bit of downtime at the moment. If not, then you can just go right into your long rest.
Which kind of like discusses with Raven the interchange. Do you ever already get sick of being inside a tent?
Wits, it did just cross my mind. Perhaps I should stand guard. while we are resting.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We can switch out if you like.
Yes, after about 2 hours, I will awaken you, and you should awaken someone else after about 2 more hours.
All right, and keep a good eye out. Whenever Sybil and I were staring at each other, I was telling her about suspicions about maybe the hooded man from the tavern had something to do with that altar. So just
Indeed,
kind of keep a lookout.
I will watch the road and the woods.
If you don't mind, could you go and mention in their tent that maybe about 4 hours this wake up maybe Martis to stand guard.
I would really rather not speak to her. Perhaps you could speak to her in 4 hours.
All right, fine. Wits lazily gets out of the tent and wait, can he? Oh no, I'm pretty sure if Wits knows what Martos looks like, he can just point at her direction and still use message.
Yeah, you can cast it through solid objects as long as you're familiar with the person and know that they're beyond it.
All right. So then I point over at their tent, and then I use message to Martos.
All right, Martos, you hear Wits' voice echo in your head.
Just loudly. Oh, Martos, I'm gonna wake up in 4 hours for watch.
That was very loud.
I will return with an orcish scream in my head back.
It's like falls off, like trips onto the ground from the sudden orc scream.
I need to turn these guys.
Wits, are you quite all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. You know Martos.
Indeed.
All right. Apologies, chat.
Give me even more hearing damage.
Their poor ears.
I think Martos and I just took psychic damage.
In the future, if you do want to give the impression that you're yelling, make sure that you face your head away from the mic. It'll sound better.
Noted.
So Draven's just gonna kind of chill on this rock and keep an eye kind of up north and then down west along the road.
All right. Throughout your watch, Draven, the sun sets and it becomes dark out. And you sort of watch both ways, watching both the path that you came from down to the path that you plan to head, as well as the thicket of trees off in this direction as well. And throughout your watch, it's quiet. You still hear the occasional bleating of the sheep from the pen, but over the course of your watch, they quiet down a bit. And your 4 hours passes without any sort of incidents.
Alright. Make my way over to the tent. Can I make a stealth roll to enter the tent quietly?
Sure. Alright. You enter without a sound.
Alright. Draven's gonna enter the tent and kind of creep over to Wits. He's gonna spread his hands out. Left one open on one side, right one open on the other. He's gonna bare his teeth. And then he's gonna clap his hands together really loud.
Wits is jolted awake.
Yes, there's a mosquito in the tent.
Oh.
Your watch is up.
Alright, alright. Stealthily enters the tent just to loudly wake him up. Wits walks out to get on top of the rock, and he sits up there, and he kind of opens his little spell book to kind of look in while he's looking watch.
Alright, you position yourself on the rock and take your watch. You hear the wind kind of rustling through the trees in the thicket off to the north. And just sort of the gentle kind of waving of the grass in the plains in front of you. The sheep are mostly quiet now in their pen. So the only thing that you hear is just the occasional owl hooting off in the woods behind you. And your watch passes uneventfully as well.
He jumps on the rock and makes his way over to the girl's tent. Could I wake someone up with message as to not wake up Sybil?
Uh, yeah, I don't see why not.
Alright. So, I'll use message again to just, tell Mardos. Oh yeah, it's your turn to watch.
All right.
I was waiting for her to say something.
I just wanted the awkward stare. Oh, we just woke up.
Alright.
The crow that was right next to you.
She just sits.
All right, you sit by the path on the road. Presumably still with your skull.
Oh yeah, so why not?
All right.
I'll take it off and fiddle with it.
In the dark of night, you strike a bit of an imposing figure, sitting by the side of the road with a ram's skull on your head. And your watch passes uneventfully as well, with just the sounds of the wind.
Are you awake? Towering over you like, hey.
Terrifying. I
still
suppose it's
on.
my turn then. And Sybil's just going to stand over by the pen and kind of wistfully watch the sheep, I guess.
All right.
While looking at other things, sorry.
Of course, yeah. I wouldn't assume that you're just fixating on the sheep all night.
Just having a deep stare like what Mardos did to Wits. Just deeply staring at the sheep all 2 hours.
You sort of occupy your time occasionally glancing at the sheep. They are just sort of lazily dozing into the early hours of the morning as throughout your watch, quiet as well. But eventually you see the sun begin to rise.
Okay.
It's now
First I go over
around
to the
6 in the
tent
morning.
And wake Mardos.
Jolts up the stairs.
Could you help me wake up the others?
Call Draven.
It's daylight.
I call Draven.
You can have Draven. He kind of deserves it.
Giffen.
Right. Martos, you approach the tent where the two are still dozing off.
Can we do like a coordinated effort?
Yeah.
To just
Using
Yeah.
like hand signs, probably. Yeah. If you don't want to make any noise.
No, I mean make very loud noise.
Yeah. What I mean is, if you want to coordinate to be at once, you could just like count down with your fingers.
Okay. So countdown to clap very loudly from both sides of the tent at once. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I'm sticking my finger in Draven's ear. And
Oh, okay.
Draven jumps up like half asleep and just points and hisses and says, "Get out of my lair!"
he definitely got some problems he got to work through.
No,
With-
Martos, it's just you.
I feel better.
Wits, he kind of jolts up too, but not quite as sporadic as Draven. And he's like, "Oh, it's morning. All right."
All right. So it is still the early hours of the morning. It's around 6 a.m.
I'm going to go collect this tent. You two handle the other one.
All right. It takes you around 10ish minutes to pack up the tent, and then another 5 or so to gather up your things.
Success.
And with all of your stuff gathered, each of you sort of makes your way back to a congregation along the dirt path.
Yes, sheep slayers assemble. Let us move forward.
Call ourselves the Sheep Slayers. I like it.
And Martis is our mascot.
Heck yeah!
Sheep slayers, we kill rams.
You should start a metal band.
You know what? It's gonna happen.
Martis is the only player, and it's just screaming the whole time.
If you wish for a metal band, Sybil, you should seek a blacksmith.
Javen.
I wasn't in character. I wasn't in character.
It's okay. I was.
Oh, I'm happy that canonically no one was saying anything, and then Draven randomly just turns to Bill. If you want to see a metal band, go see the blacksmith.
He's just like an NPC. Have you been to the Sky District? No, who am I kidding? Of course you haven't.
No, Nazim.
Never should have come here.
All right. You continue along the dirt path with all of your things gathered. And eventually, after about 40 minutes of walking through the plains, can see off in the... well, you're already walking, but you can see off in the distance...
Wait a sec. I forgot to take a long rest.
Oh, yeah.
Correct. All right. Well, as I described,
Sorry.
do that.
Sorry.
No worries. No worries. Happens. So you can see off ahead of you down the path a tree line. And nearby a felled tree.
Down and not use it for anything.
Which notices the axe, the hatchet laying over there. Y'all keep y'all's stay on your toes. It looks like someone might be here.
Dead.
Mm.
Yeah, Crocky got them.
Do you think some woodcutter got dragged off by something?
Perhaps so, but we won't know until we go in.
Not good enough to find any tracks, is it?
To kind of look around to see if I can gather what happened, that's an investigation check, right?
Yep.
Okay. And that's a 13.
Nice.
It's kind of a... Oh, sorry.
From what you guys can see, there's a neat pile of logs stacked near this stump and a felled tree nearby. Sitting sort of near the stump is a hatchet or hand axe. You can see that sort of the grass around it is kind of trampled just from footsteps.
Wits kind of goes like to like there where the tree line starts, and can I roll a investigation check to see if I can see where footprints go?
You can roll survival for that.
Survival. Okay.
Alright, what'd you get?
18.
Okay, that's a pretty good roll. You don't see any footsteps heading off in that direction. Somebody was here, they didn't wander off into the woods.
What direction do the footsteps go off into?
As you sort of glance around back now towards this, you can see sort of footsteps all around here, just sort of somebody moving around. Not anything out of the ordinary. And then they make their way sort of back along to the path. And once you reach the path, there's just tons of footprints on the path. Yeah, but you don't get any signs of a struggle from this.
I'm
Well,
gonna knock down the neat pile of wood.
Odd.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, you kick the neat pile of wood and they go everywhere.
Roll strength check. Well, maybe it's just early in the morning and the Forester hasn't come yet. He just left his tools out overnight.
Left his axe to rest. I'm sure there's nothing ominous happening here. Let's continue.
I don't know what you're talking about. Alright. So before you stands a forest. rather standard looking forest. Tall trees and sort of dense grass. And you make your way, sort of weaving in between the trees, into the woods.
To the Whispering Woods.
Roll credits.
Ah, I'm excited for this.
All right.
Oh, by the way, Jake, I'm not if it's not, like, relevant to the plot later, can I ask you what that goat monster was called? If it was, like, anything, like, special?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. You make your way into the border woods.
Nice.
The trees around you are rather tall, and you can see the occasional sort of rock formation jutting from the grass that sort of lines the forest like a carpet.
Okay, what direction were we going to find these bandits?
I can remind you if you want.
Can you?
You were told that you were that they were heading west into the swamp.
Okay, west then.
Does do we just notice this thing over here behind the rock,
What?
You
or
can
do
go
we
and-
have to like?
You can go and peek around the rock if you want.
All right.
Oh.
Oi, a shovel.
Wits, you wander off from the rest of the group, curious about these rock formations, and peer around this one to see a shovel and crate kind of half buried in the ground.
Can I? I don't know what I'd find if I rolled an investigation check.
Could break into the crate. There is a
That's
shovel.
great.
We could.
The crate does appear to be closed up, but only by a few nails.
Oi, Matos, you want to give it a stab?
I give it stab.
Wits, just make sure you're not right up against your mic, because it blows out the audio slightly.
All right.
Sometimes you sound great, and then sometimes you sound like you're just a little too close to it, so that's why I wanted to make
Yeah,
sure.
I know the
just to-
gain of the pickup's kind of finicky on it, and just like
Yeah, some
like
mics
a
are
perfect
just
distance. So.
some mics are just like that, but
Yeah.
just if you can make a slightly conscious effort, then that would probably help
I'll
chat
try to
to Sorry
Stay
for
back
me,
away
but
from it.
no worries. Okay, Martos, how do you want to open the crate?
Mashing it with the axe.
Okay, yeah. You slam your axe down into it, and it splinters underneath the weight of it, and takes a couple big hacks, but you manage to break up the lid to this crate and sort of pull the pieces away. And inside you can see sort of a cloth parcel. What would you like to do?
What
I'll
kind of
open
check
it
would
with
you have?
this free-
What kind of check would you have to roll to like examine the cloth parcel?
Well, you can pick it up and look.
Oh, okay.
Or other than that, it might be pretty hard to tell what's inside it. Just from a
Okay.
distance.
Well, then Wits kind of reaches in and pulls out the cloth parcel to examine it.
You have to bend down because it's kind of half buried in the ground, and you reach into the crate and pull out this cloth parcel. It's just sort of like a cloth wrapped around a few items to keep them together. But as you sort of unfurl the cloth, you can see what was inside it. Inside was a glass bottle, sort of square in shape, with a neck coming out from it, with a red liquid inside of it. And as he unfurls it and sort of focuses on the bottle, something else falls out from the cloth onto the ground, Martos, that you see. It's a small little leather purse.
All right,
Pick it up.
I would like to roll
Got
an
some
Arcana check.
alcohol in there.
Wits does notice, he just drinks it immediately, thinking it's alcohol.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Wits, you can roll an Arcana if you want.
Damn.
Sure is red and bubbly.
Yep. Wits kind of like like hand motions like Sybil to walk over. All right, Sybil, you're a lot better with magic than I am. You wanna take a look at this?
Or wizard, but okay.
Druid
8.
magic.
8.
Y'all don't know shit.
Yep, yeah, that's better.
All right. So what were you looking at then? You cut off.
And I rolled an 8, so I don't expect to know
Okay.
what it is.
Inspecting
Sure
the
is
bottle
red.
as well. Sure is red and
We
bubbly.
give it a try.
We
I know a little.
we don't particularly do repeated rolls like that. I usually start with the people who would be most likely to be able to succeed on them, rather than just repeating a roll all day with all 4 of you, because it exponentially raises the chances of you guys succeeding on them. So I usually start with the person who would be most likely to succeed, and then if somebody else wants to help, then we give them advantage. That's kind of how we do rolls here.
It is a liquid.
It is red and bubbly.
There you go. Now what's in this
And
purse?
bubbly liquid.
All right,
Shake it out of it.
Which like starts putting in his bag. I guess we'll have to save it for later until we figure out what it is.
I know, J-Village, I'm just teasing. You open up the purse, and inside are some gold coins. 20, in fact.
Mardos is rich.
Yeah, like the 70 gold she magically has too.
I think we need to talk about that 70 gold at some point.
Well, like I rolled and it was like, I think it was like 60, and then I got gold, and then I was like, oh wait, I also have like stuff, so I had to take away money, and I just ended up with 70. I was like, okay, bet. But I'm a rich orc in this place.
Wait, hang on. Where did you get the 60 from?
The 60 I rolled for the barbarian gold, and I think it was like
Ah, that's why.
2.
so she did.
Yeah.
So she did add a bunch of gold at the beginning. So typically, I give you guys all your gold to start with, and I base it on how much I think that your character would start with.
Oh.
So people who are just sort of like scrounging out in the woods would probably not have 60 gold.
Yeah, Sybil.
So I apologize for not making that clear on my end. Just to sort of start you in a certain place with money, so that I can sort of keep an eye on it. But to compromise, let me take 40 of that gold away from you, and you can keep the rest.
Including this 20. Or without?
You can keep this 20, yes. But of your initial 60 that you added, let me take 40 from you.
Okay, bet.
As a compromise, since I should have noticed earlier.
Yeah, Draven would have never known that the random half orc chasing boars was filthy fucking random.
Hey
True.
guys.
Alright, with that, I guess we continue.
Now that is the only contents of that crate.
Which
Alright.
tries to like casually put the broken pieces of the top of it on top of it to kind of play it off like we never did anything. Even though
I would like
I don't
to.
think it's been occupied for a while. Sorry, Draven?
I'd like to see if there's a tallest tree around here, or if that rock's pretty tall, and climb it to get a better view of the surroundings.
The tallest tree in this area is this one.
Okay. I will spider climb my way up it. Let me know if I need to make any checks.
question, was that randomly chosen or did you have that prepared?
Oh, I did not have that prepared.
I figured.
Oh, stop. No.
Although you like chose it so quick, I thought it seemed like it was.
He was
Alright.
prepared for this
Thanks,
question.
Martos. Alright. The rest of you see Draven just very casually climb this tree, as if it requires no effort at all. All the way right up to the very top, and Draven, you can now sort of survey your surroundings. Off behind you to the east, you can see the edge of the tree line and fields beyond it. And then off to the north, you can see a very long expanse of trees. Similarly to the south, and then when you turn your attention westward, you see that these trees continue for a bit, and then you see that the type of tree begins to change. they're placed a little more erratically, not as densely, and they have sort of darker leaves, and you see a lot more kind of like winding, twisted branches off in that direction.
All right. I'll climb back down and tell the party what I saw, and say, yes, I do believe the forest is thinning out to the west. We could be coming up on the swamp soon.
All right. Well, at least we know our information was good.
Good dial time.
All right. So you travel through this forest for about another 40-ish minutes, kind of weaving your way in between the trees. There's no real clear path, though there is sort of gaps in the trees for you to walk through as you make your way through the border woods. And eventually, you come to a change in environment.
Oh.
Just give me one moment. Before you, through gaps in the trees, you can see the sort of grassy forest floor turn to darker dirt and then mud. And then as you continue, you see this.
Witz immediately starts like wiping some of the sweat off his forehead, as it's a little more human now.
There's a slight slope downward as the dirt turns to mud, and you can see the land kind of sink into a bog.
Ready to get some leeches.
Swim in this.
Okay, wait.
Orcs do not float.
Can I? What kind of check would I do to check the water for immediate crocodiles?
Make a nature check.
Dip your
Okay.
toe in.
Oh, that's
you think?
not one.
Well, we don't know anything.
Plus 4, but it's not
Crocodile
one.
immediately jumps out and attacks him.
Sybil, you don't see any crocodiles.
No crocodiles here.
Witz like
Perfectly
kind of looks at
normal.
his boots with the mud on it in a little bit of disgust, as he's used to being in the city.
Stories must have just been exaggerating, Sybil, because you don't see any.
Just a bunch of logs, which are definitely not crocodiles. Cool. Who wants to go first?
Witz takes a step back.
Yes,
after
why
hearing
not
that.
you?
From what you can
Okay.
see, Sybil, kind of standing right at the water's edge, the land kind of sinks under this water here, with sort of cattails and reeds along the border of the water. But it doesn't appear to be all that deep.
So we can walk in it.
Potentially, yes.
Could've-
At least for the first few steps, from what you're certain of.
Oh.
Hold
See-
on a second.
See the bottom of it from where you're standing near the shore, but you're not really able to tell how deep it is way out here, is what I'm saying.
Are there any like loose sticks out here?
Yeah, you could tear one off a tree, you could find one on the ground. There's
Alright.
definitely some.
Witz kind of grabs a stick and he just like tosses it out to like maybe like there or something.
Alright, well, it floats.
Okay.
The stick
Horrible.
floats.
Stick.
Yes,
kinda-
this is quite an interesting activity you all have here, watching sticks float, but I would like to get on with our journey.
Kind of
Okay.
gently bobbing in the water.
Witz sad as he was about to go grab another stick.
Alright,
Don't worry.
Draven, your first step is about to your ankles, your second step is about to your knees, and then you're about here and forward as you continue to walk. It reaches about your waist and then kind of levels out.
Okay.
All right. How
Draven's a short boy,
Draven?
and He's 5'9". He's a shorty. Let's go.
He's
Oh.
5'11", but he says he's 6 foot.
If you okay,
I'm
he is
5
5'11"
foot.
then.
Oh,
You
Martos,
are
maybe you wanna carry Sybil? She's
Oh,
a
hey,
little
hey,
short.
hey,
Come here, Sybil, get on my shoulders.
Okay, Jay.
Mhm.
How often can I wild shape?
It actually says on your character sheet so that you can reference that in the
Oh.
future.
Is that once per session? Or
So
long
it'll
rest?
show you in
Where
your
is it?
features. So it's
features.
it will be in your yeah. So
Should be on-
features and traits.
Is it on actions as well?
Huh? Okay, I do
I have
see spellcasting
idea.
and my racial trait.
Whatever.
Anyway,
Oh
okay,
wait,
I
is it a
can't
level
find
2
it.
thing?
What the
Yeah.
heck?
Am I? Did
Oh yeah,
I?
I wild shaped first time, but that was just Jay.
That was me.
introducing
That was me
so-
introducing you, and
Alright,
I
I
made a
have
bit
a
of
Yeah, wild shape now.
I allowed it because it was a more interesting opening, but she doesn't technically have it yet. It's
Okay.
Sybil, let's say it is unreliable at the moment.
Okay.
Jay,
So
I
I
have a
can't do
question.
Yes, go
I'll
ahead.
jump on these
Um,
shoulders then.
Does Ray of Frost freeze any water it touches?
Oh.
Not enough to be stable. It could probably freeze kind of the edges around a shore, but not enough to create a platform.
Just keep casting it over and over again.
Yes, I'm getting soggy here. Come on in, the water's fine.
Okay, I'm just gonna go in by myself and hope.
I
Okay.
believe in you.
Jay, what level is Sybil up to? Being
It
a
kinda-
foot shorter than Draven.
It sits kind of just below your collarbone, and you have to kind of get on your tiptoes to sort of
Are
avoid
you
more
sure
of
you
the
didn't
water.
want to ride on Martos' shoulders?
I didn't want to be a bother.
I
Okay.
would enjoyed it. We'd have fun.
All right. Okay, hang on. Let me clarify something. So apologies for confusing you, Sybil. It is technically a second level thing. I wild shaped you at the beginning there because I thought it was an interesting opening. But let's
I thought it
say
was
until you level up, it is something that Sybil has found that she is able to do, but very, very unreliably.
Okay.
It works sometimes, but it's you're not able to consistently stay in that shape, and occasionally you change into the wrong animal. How about that? How's that as a compromise?
Yeah, that sounds
The
good.
chaotic version.
Yes, you have chaos wild shape right now. As a compromise.
Shouts out,
That could be
bear,
interesting.
transform, turns into a rabbit.
All right. Let's
Turn
move
into
on.
a snail. Damn, I thought I was real clever with that Ray of Frost.
You make your way through the swamps. Sort of wading through this water, and as you continue onward for some time, you can see the occasional tree kind of growing up out of the water, and see sort of its roots emerging from the water. And you can see that the ground around you is kind of formed into hills, some of which peak above the water level.
These swamp maps look great, Jay.
I thought so too.
Yeah, they look very nice. Can confirm it looks like an actual swamp.
And occasionally you hear sort of birds flitter between branches of these sort of older looking trees. They're kind of gnarled and twisted and don't look like your standard forest tree. They grow with a large amount of roots and sort of within the water.
It's kind of
Rocky
like
land.
runs out when he gets close to the land, and it's kind of like there's a distinct disgust look on his face with all the mud and water.
Are these swamp trees
Up to her neck
tall
in
or?
mud.
Yep.
Oh.
I'm gonna do another climb just to check out make sure we're not going in a bad direction.
All right. You climb up this tree. It's ever so slightly harder because some of the branches are a little delicate, and you kind of have to be wary of which ones will snap away from under you. But eventually, after just slightly longer, you make your way up to the top of this tree. It's not quite as tall as the other one, but you can still kind of see now that there's less dense foliage in the way. The swamp continues for quite a bit off to the west, but if you kind of squint slightly way off in the distance, you can see a gentle sort of wisp of smoke kind of lazily making its way up from somewhere off to the west.
North and south look clear.
Yeah, more swamp to the north and south.
Okay. I'll climb back down. It appears there's a campfire, or perhaps a home up ahead in the distance.
All right, well, we know where we're going.
All right. So you sort of pull yourselves up out of the water, still sort of drenched and dripping. Your clothes feeling a little bit heavier as you make your way. Now on drier land. And you continue along these sort of quote-unquote islands in the swamp. The ground below you is sort of muddy and soft. And you occasionally slip or stumble beneath you, but manage to, for the most part, keep a decent course, making relatively good time. Just give me one moment. And eventually, as you make your way along this sort of muddy island in the swamp, you can see ahead of you it fades, sort of sloping back down into the swamp below and back into the water. But as you approach that edge, you see, stretching off further, a boardwalk.
Would have been convenient to have that the first stretch of the swamp.
Well, I'm happy we have it now.
But here,
Yes.
not the
Yeah.
beginning.
Perhaps those who dwell in the swamp do not want to make it convenient for someone to enter.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, you make your way across this first little stretch of boardwalk. Just pause for a moment so I can describe. And the wood itself is soft and kind of wet, and kind of creaks below you. It's definitely very old, this boardwalk. You can see sort of moss and grime kind of growing along the wood as you travel. The boardwalk sort of winds its way back and forth between a few of these sort of muddy islands in the swamp. Okay, you may proceed. Martos, pause.
Uh-oh.
Can you
Oh, no.
make a perception roll for me?
I don't see shit.
Nothing there. Smile.
La la la.
Jay, I can see the smile on your face from here.
I'm not aiming to traumatize these guys like I did with Hearth and Home and Bridges, okay? Trailblazer?
No.
Alright, as you cross this island here and sort of look off in the distance, you see another longer stretch of muddy ground. And you've traveled maybe for about another half an hour since where you were, since Draven last climbed that tree. And off in the distance now, you can see a light. It kind of flickers in a soft orange, like a torch, in the distance. Through sort of a mist in the swamp. What would you like to do?
We're not barging in there.
Me.
Draven, you're good at stealth, right?
Yes, quite.
Could you, do some reconnaissance?
Maybe climb another tree. Get a good look. If not, maybe move a little closer.
Yes, sure. I will go into harm's way yet again for you all.
Look, it's up to you sneak up there and
Look,
potentially go in
look,
harm's way, or
Draven.
we're all in harm's way.
Draven, if you don't do it, I'll send Matos to do it. And do you really think Matos would do a good job with stealth?
Oh
I
no,
barged there
I
themselves.
certainly think she should not. I will do it. I'm just saying, please recognize my value.
Don't worry,
You recognize
we
the
got you
value.
covered from.
As a scout.
Well, don't worry, we got you covered. From way over here, and
Oh God.
just don't get caught.
Yes, I'll be especially sneaky.
They get caught.
No way he said that.
All right, Draven.
All right, Jay.
Oh, no.
I'm going.
Alright.
There he goes.
Draven, you make your way towards the torch, and as you approach it, you are relatively oblivious to the twigs that snap below your feet. And as you approach these torches, as you approach the torch, you can see that there's two of them. And stretching off kind of to the north of this torch is another boardwalk. So let me just bring only Draven. This is what you see.
Oh, lovely.
And as you get closer, a twig snaps below your foot. And the figure who is just sort of sitting on a old rocking chair, with a start, looks directly at you. And just sort of pauses for a moment, unsure of what you're doing as you sort of freeze and stare at him. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna slowly raise my right hand in like a wave.
All right. There's another sort of pause of awkward silence, and then the other figure just sort of raises one of his hands. You can see sort of clawed fingers, and just sort of raises his hand and just kind of casually waves as well through the mist.
I'm gonna put like both my hands up, like mean no harm stance, and just take a couple steps forward.
All right. You step forward onto another boardwalk. It creaks as well below your feet. And as you kind of make your way slightly towards the figure, you can see he's sitting kind of on what looks to be sort of a dock in the middle of the swamp. And sort of affixed on stilts is this hut with sort of a hay thatched roof. And you can see from beyond the roof a small, lazy wisp of smoke from the chimney. And as you approach slightly towards him, the figure who was just sort of confusedly waving at you calls out to you and says, "Lost in the swamp, stranger."
Yes, I'm traveling with a merry band of idiots. They're a bit behind me. I was scouting ahead to see if there were any dangers.
Well, no dangers here, friend.
All right. Would you mind if I called my companions along?
Of course, the more the merrier.
All right. Draven will turn around and yell out to the group. Yes, come along.
All right, the rest of you hear that shouting off in the distance.
Can we throw a perception check to see if he heard Draven call us idiots?
He was making it very easy to hear.
Oh, okay.
He was just shouting, so you could definitely hear that. It's not that far away.
What if we just kill him?
It said you're merry. It's like half compliment, half insult. Yes, are you all coming?
We're just standing there staring at him, waiting to be teleported closer.
hurry up and drag your tokens.
All right. So if you want to continue, you can.
We can. I continue.
Yeah, I continue.
Everybody. Perfect.
How do you do the split player thing on each map? Jay?
Okay, so Luna, you grab, the names along the bottom.
Yeah.
You pop out your tray for your pages, then you drag just that person's little name thing, not their color box, but their name beside it. It'll appear like a
see
little
it.
arrow thing. You drag that onto the map that you want, and it'll bring just them there.
That's brilliant. Thank you.
Happy to help. All right, the others arrive as well, and you see sort of past these torches, that same hut that I described to Draven. And off, sitting in a rocking chair, just kind of gently rocking back and forth, you see that same figure who's just sort of waving you along, making a gesture with his hand. And as you approach, you can see this man a little better. He appears to be Dragonborn in origin. But most of his head is kind of covered by this large lily pad hat. You can see a myriad of sort of necklaces and talismans around his neck, and he has an old, gnarled-looking walking stick that sort of rests against the chair as he rocks back and forth. And as the rest of you approach, here, let me let you all face him. As the rest of you approach, he begins to speak. He kind of stretches his S's as he talks. You can see his tongue kind of flicking from inside his fanged jaws, and he says, "Welcome, travelers. What brings you to my part of this swamp today?"
Through to the other part of the swamp, supposedly.
Just a casual jaunt through Lutoxi, is that it?
Not Miles.
As one does.
You cut out. What'd you say?
Oh, it cut out again?
I just didn't get what you said.
I just said as one does.
Okay.
How long have you been living here?
All my life.
I'd say that means you're well acquainted with the area then.
For the most part.
Might I have your name?
My name is Guldedario.
Very nice to meet you.
Here's his name tag.
Okay.
So, you just went for a little wander, and that brought you to Bogrest.
Miles.
We're looking for some men, actually. Draven will show him the sigil, or the company marking.
As you sort of hold it up to him, he just kind of gestures to bring it closer, and he just says, "My eyes aren't what they used to be. You're going to have to hold it closer than that."
If I must.
He kind of leans forward out of his rocking chair, and brings his head closer to the sigil. "No, I don't recognize."
Can I insight check that?
Yep.
16.
He doesn't make any sort of weird motions, no sort of like uncomfortable twitching or anything like that. He just seems kind of very calm and sure of himself.
Well,
thank you
sorry.
for your assistance anyway.
Well, you wouldn't know if there's any other settlements within this area here.
Well, you're you're in the settlement. This is Bogrest. And he sort of motions one of his hands off, more kind of to the north along this boardwalk here. And as you kind of turn, you can see several more huts off in the distance.
Oh, I see. Well, do you know by any chance if everyone else here lived here about their whole lives, such as yourself?
Most folk who live in the swamp stay in the swamp.
And what of the population of the swamp? What races typically live here?
We have all sorts in Bogrest. But not that many of us live here.
You wouldn't happen to have see anybody pass by here within the past day or two?
Let me make a roll for him. He sort of looks off in the distance, kind of scratching his chin slightly, trying to remember. Not that I remember, but my memory, it fades sometimes. I am quite old.
I understand, sir.
Perhaps we should move along.
Perhaps so. Well, thank you
All
for
right.
your help, sir.
Of course, you're welcome to stay in our little bog rest. You
Only
think
very
you'll find
peaceful.
the people here are most hospitable.
All right.
Jake, can you spell out the name of that place? Because I'm sure I'm hearing it wrong.
There you go.
Bog Rest. Gotcha.
It's almost progress. All right then. I guess I reckon we should head on to the rest of the settlement.
Of course, make yourself at home.
Thank you very much for the instructions, sir.
Of course. And he just sort of continues rocking on his chair. Alright, the four of you make your way off down this boardwalk towards a larger grouping of these same sort of sized huts. So let me bring you. If you just give me 1 second. Traveling sort of along that same wooden boardwalk. The boards here are also quite old, it seems. Not any newer than the ones that you were walking on before. But eventually you arrive to sort of a square, if you will, in the boardwalk. And in its center sits a large and very tall tree.
Ooh, I like music.
And as you look off into the boardwalk, you can see on either side some huts with chimneys with smoke billowing out of them. And directly in front of you, Wits, you see, if you just pause for a moment so I can describe.
Sorry.
You see sort of an opening in the giant tree in the center. And you can see some lights kind of flickering from inside it. But everybody else, your attention is immediately drawn to a very large, sort of humanoid figure. It has 2 arms and 2 legs, but it doesn't look like any humanoid you've ever seen. It stands taller than all of you and is rather bulky and large and has very thick and muscly looking arms. And it sort of, with loud creaks, makes its way towards you all and just sort of stops in front of you.
who are you?
The towering creature, which, as it has approached you in the light of the candles and torches, you can see it appears to be made out of mushrooms. The towering creature just sort of looks down at you with its sort of black beady eyes, and then from no mouth at all, you hear a booming and slow voice which says, "I am Jellycap. Who might you be?"
Very nice to
Very
meet you.
visibly. Okay, sorry. Sybil is very visibly excited at meeting a giant mushroom man, and she eagerly walks up to him to shake his hand. My name is Sybil Vignori. It's a pleasure to meet you. If you don't mind me asking, what race are you?
I do not understand the question, and I do
Oh.
not understand your gesture. He just sort of stares at your outstretched hand.
Oh, Sybil quickly takes her hand back and gives him a nervous bow of her head, and I apologize for that. I'm just very excited to meet you. I've dedicated my life to studying plants and mycology and mushrooms and all sorts of things, and it's just very exciting to meet something outside of my experience. I was just asking what you are exactly.
I am Jellycap.
All right.
I love him.
Sybil, it appears if you were searching for intelligent life, your search must continue.
Dare you, Draven! Freaking,
Don't
you
dare
got angry at me about the ram, and you're insulting poor Jellycap's intelligence?
I was not planning on taking his life. I'm just simply saying he's a bit dimwitted.
How dare you!
Which kind of like tries to like reach or like look over Sybil to talk to him. Nice to meet you. Name's Wits. We're just travelers passing through.
Nice to meet you as well. I am Jellycap.
Yes. Nice to meet you as well. Can we pass?
I'm shoving him off the dock.
Make a athletics then. I'll contest it.
Yep.
Look, I missed. There was a light shove. Did nothing.
God damn it. What the hell, Martos?
Fucking hell, Mark.
With a splash, Draven goes
Water.
tumbling into the water.
Don't you be mean to my friend.
Wits
Very
lets out, like,
Sorry
a
about
loud
him,
laugh.
Jellycat.
Wits kind of comes back to reach his hand out. All right, Raven, come on back in.
Yeah.
Jellycap's voice booms out over all of you. You shouldn't go swimming. There are leeches.
You might want to check yourself, Draven.
Draven
Something about
checks.
parasites.
Alright. You do not see any leeches, Draven.
I'm sure they're the big kind.
But Jellycap turns to the rest of you and says, "You may make yourselves at home, but do not cause any trouble." And sort of lumbers his way out of your way.
I think I love him.
He is so far my favorite NPC.
Think I can get with Jellycap. Think he likes orc.
You know, I don't think he
I need to
understands the
figure out what
concept.
he is.
Better start doing some research.
One sec. Hey, Jellycap?
Yes.
If you don't mind me asking, could I kind of just observe you for a second?
I suppose.
Okay, what check do I roll to figure out what Jellycap is?
Nature, I suppose.
Nat free.
All right. You
No. He is mushroom.
you're not quite sure what he might be. You can definitely tell that he has sort of an assortment of mushrooms growing on him, and his entire body appears to be made of the same sort of flesh as a mushroom's stalk would be.
Woods kind of looks over, kind of curious to figure out too. Could I roll a nature check to see, or do you not want to?
Not particularly, no, because if Sybil with
Druid, and if he
if
didn't
Sybil
know
with
it,
the experience wouldn't know it, then
You're
you wouldn't
correct.
either.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially where you're from, Wits, you would not be familiar with this sort of thing.
That's very fair. All right.
Oh. All right, thank you very much, Jellycat. Very
Are
nice to meet you.
you finished observing?
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you for that.
You are welcome. He just sort of lumbers off.
All right.
Oh, I've
So
never seen anything like that. Oh, I love Karatahera. Ah. Anyway,
Alright.
what were we doing?
all right. So there's a few huts here, but I reckon we should probably start with this big open tree in the middle. What do y'all think?
Yep, of course.
But that seemed like the main thing, yeah.
All right. Let's go.
Alright. So there is an opening in the trunk of this tree. It sort of stretches high up above you, as well as down below you a bit. And you can kind of see that it's growing out of this sort of mound in the center of town. And
Draven.
as you make your way into the sort of gap in the bark here of the trunk of this tree, you can see that it's sort of hollow inside.
Draven, you got any snipe comments to make before we go in?
What does that mean?
I'll tell you later.
Inside the trunk of this tree, you can see a woman who's just sort of she's kneeling, facing away from you on the ground, and what she's facing is a large, twisted pile of brambles. And at first, they just kind of look like brambles, but as you sort of stare at them, you can kind of see that they resemble the figure of a man. You can see sort of a distinct shape to this mass of brambles. You can kind of make out a body as well as a distinct head. And the woman is elvish from her long ears, and sort of is kneeling, her hands clasped and her eyes closed, silently just facing away from you. She has not noticed you yet.
Don't think we should disturb her. I think she's praying to
She's,
something.
yeah, some sort of ritual. Let's leave her be for a bit.
So, Draven's wandered the woods a lot. Would he have seen this before? I'm not going to do anything with the information. I'm just curious. I don't know how common that is.
They aren't incredibly common, so I'm going to say no.
Okay. Yeah, so we just gathering in people's homes now.
This isn't a home, this is a clearing.
As you talk, the woman just sort of opens her eyes and
Oh.
turns towards you, and kind of rights herself and stands up and says, "Oh, hello. Who are all you?"
Hello. Don't mean to startle you. We're just travelers.
Well, not particularly startled me. I was just saying a prayer to the Wild Father. My name is Alincia. Who are all you?
Draven Duskmore.
Sybil.
I see.
Hi,
Nice to,
Martos.
nice to meet you.
The name's Wits.
Oops. Missed a letter.
Travelers coming through the swamp looking for something.
Oh, I see. We don't get all that many visitors in the swamp.
Then, if you don't get that many visitors, could you tell us if you saw any men come through the area a few days ago? Or
Mm,
yesterday?
yesterday, I did hear some noises at night, but I didn't see anyone.
Hmm.
Do you know anyone perhaps that lives in this village that might have been up around that time?
Mm, not really sure. Old Elias is a little odd, so maybe he was up and wandering around. That's what I thought it was initially, but I never really asked around. So,
Ah, I see. And where can we find this man?
just off to the north, he kind of turns to point, kind of past, off in this direction. He runs the inn in the north.
Well, we are investigating a man's death, so if you find out anything else, or happen to remember anything, please let us know.
Oh,
Draven, do you still have the insignia?
Yes, I'll show her the company insignia.
what is it?
Never
Ring
mind.
if you might know.
Let's go.
Oh well. Thanks for the help anyway.
I see. All right. Well, you can come by my shop later if you wish.
All right.
Alright.
Which shop is it?
I run the herbalist.
All right. Well, we may stop by before we head out, but we'll likely be at the inn for the rest of the day.
Of course. I'll be heading back there in just a moment. Once I finish up here.
Question: is Murdo still wearing that skull?
She didn't
No.
take it off, but
It's a part of me now. I told you guys.
All right. Well, I guess you're gonna have to make new art now.
Damn.
See like a
just
PNG of the skull. Oh, sorry.
just give me 1 second. You guys can keep talking. I'm just saying I need a moment.
Just get a PNG of like a skull and just put it on top of the current art.
Boom. Done.
It's not always sinister. Relax, tables. All right. You make your way up kind of north along more of the boardwalk. Out in the waters, you can see some barrels kind of drift back and forth with candles sort of affixed on the top of them and lit, providing a little bit more light to kind of the dim surroundings of the swamp. But you continue along the sort of old boardwalk and see another grouping of buildings ahead of you. One of the buildings is larger than the others, but they all kind of resemble each other. The same kind of hay roofs. One of them is sort of a circular hut directly in your center. The other has sort of 2 lanterns lit and has a small sign out front of it. But the largest building also has a sign. They've noticed the turtles.
It's a good addition. I like that.
It's subtle. All right. So
Next combat enemy.
a few buildings stand before you. What would you like to do?
I reckon we check out the inn first.
Yeah. Is there any signage outside?
This one, no.
But the others.
Yeah, what does this one sign say? I assume.
This one you have to get a little closer to read. But Draven, you can read that this one just says Bog Rest Inn.
Alright, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go check out this one real quick.
The sign over here indicates the inn, though it could be more than one building.
All right.
What does this sign say?
It says Herbalist.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Really wishes she could go there, but she's dead broke. She's super broke.
Alright, I'm gonna moonwalk over here.
All right. You creak the old door open. All of the wood in this, pretty much this entire town, feels quite old and slightly damp from the very humid environment of the swamp. But you creak the door open and make your way inside. Inside is a very empty inn. With an old man kind of sitting in the far left corner, just sort of leaning and casually smoking a pipe.
Greetings. Greetings of bartender. Could you give me a mead, please?
The man was just sort of lost in thought and didn't really seem to even notice you walk in. But as you sort of make your presence known and announce yourself, he just sort of sits up with a start in his chair and says, visitors? Well, it's not every day we get those.
Oh wow.
Well, good. That means more mead for me.
Who could have guessed?
What was his
Oh.
what was- Elias? Was that the name the lady told us?
Yep.
Alright. I assume you're Elias then.
Well, that'd be me. Elias Bushberry.
Well, very nice to meet you. The name's Wits.
Nice to meet you, Wits.
Yes,
Marcos.
Draven.
I see. Draven. And he just kind of looks at the rest of you to announce your names.
Sybil.
I'm Martos.
Martos and Sybil. All right, well. What can I do for y'all? You looking to stay in this little inn?
How much would it cost for logging a maid?
Well, I don't have your traditional mead here, but we got our own concoction, if that's what you're looking for.
We'll have it.
Alright, what you got?
Well, we got a few choices. We got swamp swill, we call it here. It's an ale of sorts. Brew it up ourselves.
I'll take one of those.
All right, that'd be a goal for a flagon.
Wits looks a little sad, but he hasn't had drink in a while, so he hesitantly puts a gold on the table.
Take
Thank you,
that, Wits. I
Ken.
got you.
Anything else for the rest of you?
I
we
will
got-
take one as well.
Got a few other choices as well if you're interested, as
What
well as
about
some food.
I'll take food.
All right. Well, if you don't mind, miss, I'll run through our beverages, and then afterwards I'll get to your food. Is that all right?
Oh, yeah, alright.
Of course. Well, in addition to the swamp swill, I also serve good berry wine, and well, a special bog rest specialty, I suppose. The last choice is toad oil whiskey.
Ah, hit me with that.
All right. Well, the whiskey is a gold for a small glass.
I can
Well,
feel
good
Draven's
glass.
judgment from here.
So, Martos, you're getting some whiskey? Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right, one flagon of swamp swill and a glass of toad oil whiskey. Coming right up. Be with you right in a sec, miss. He gives you your beverages and then sort of makes his way down the bar to you, Sybil.
All right. So what did you have?
Well, on the menu for today, we have spicy shrimp and fish skillet, but we also have what I like to call swamp gumbo. That's
pretty good.
chicken and sausage mixed into a gumbo. But I also serve crawfish étouffée. And, well, for dessert, we have bread pudding with a bourbon sauce.
I'll be étouffée, actually.
All right. I'll have that with you in just a minute.
Is that one gold?
Indeed it is.
All right. I'll take that off.
All right. He gets to work as you take your places at the bar.
I'm very happy that all of the money Wits has spent so far is on alcohol.
Wits,
Yeah.
the flagon that he has handed you is filled with a murky brown ale. Would you like to take a drink?
Wits kind of looks at it disgustingly and then shrugs his shoulders and takes a sip.
It's has the slightest kind of spicy aftertaste, just the slightest bit of kind of cinnamon. Martos, the glass that he's given you, is filled with a amber and slightly oily looking whiskey.
I'm just gonna gulp it down.
All right, it is very potent. Make a Constitution save for me.
Oh shit.
That's why I was like, I'll take the lightest one. Oh.
Oh, I'm fucking hammering this shit.
All right. You feel it kind of burn out your throat a little bit, but you do not feel immediately inebriated, and you are still of your right mind. And as the two of you drink, eventually, the innkeeper Elias brings your food. And he slides the plate across. It is a spicy crawfish stew served over a bowl of rice. And he says, "You enjoy, miss?"
Which takes a few more sips before kind of waving his hand at us again. I forgot the accent because I'm hearing your southern accent.
I'm infecting you.
That's all I hear where I'm from, so it's kind of overwhelming it right now.
It's definitely a common thing, like infectious accents. I do it too when I hear someone talking in character.
All right. We heard about that you were about some trouble last night. You reckon you know anything about that?
Trouble, I don't really know what you mean.
Did you hear anybody come through town last night? Or hear anything in general last night?
Well, I was on my nightly constitutional, and I did hear some branches snapping off in the distance. And then, well, I thought for a moment I heard some whispers out in the swamp.
Some whispers in the swamp, you say?
Yeah, yes, in the swamp, of course.
By any chance, you know which direction?
Just sort of off in the distance. I didn't really pay much attention. Thought it might just be losing my marbles.
Well, according to one of the other residents here, you're not.
Well, that's certainly good news.
Have you seen any other travelers come through here? Although, judging by your reaction, I guess not.
not too many folk come through town, and well, most of the folk who do, I become familiar with them. What with me running the inn, but business ain't been too good lately.
Anything been stopping people from coming through the swamp?
Well, heard a few stories, but I'm not the one you should talk to for that.
Oh,
We did move a tree that was blocking the eastern path.
Oh.
Well, I don't know nothing about no trees, but my daughter's been complaining about some stuff.
would you happen to know if anyone else here would have a little more information about travelers?
Well, most folk around here are pretty friendly, so you could stop by and talk to them all. I think most of them are home.
All right. And what does it cost for a room here for a night?
Just 2 gold for a night, my menacing friend.
Wonderful. Perhaps we will come back and rent some rooms. It does not seem like you will fill up anytime soon.
Well, I'd make that same bet, friend. And,
Well,
well, if you
yes.
want, a little later you can stop by my house. Just out in the center of town. One of the small little huts. You can stop by my house. I do offer other services other than innkeeping.
are you
All right.
speaking to me? Oh, I thought he was calling me a little lady. My apologies.
To the group in general.
What kind of other services?
Well, folk round these parts, they call me a soothsayer. Well, I don't rightly know what that means, but I do know sometimes when I look in the water, I see things.
Yes, fish and other creatures below the surface.
Which looks down at his drink and then looks back up and just kind of puts it down for a second.
Yes, sometimes I do see fish. Sometimes frogs, sometimes turtles, but I'm not talking about those instances. I'm talking about, well, visions of sorts.
Yes. Yes. I would love to
Hmm.
have my future read or sung similar.
Well, stop by a little later, and I'd be happy to do that for you.
All right.
Alright.
Which house you say was yours?
Just out in the square. Small little
Alright.
square one.
All right. Finishes up his drink and kind of pushes the flagon towards him.
Sybil, if you want to have visions, just ask him what he's smoking in his pipe.
Well,
Sure,
we
no
do have an
fun.
herbalist.
Let's go get fucked up.
Thank you, sir.
Happy to be a help. Alright. Now you make your way back through the double doors, out of the inn, to the sort of humid, misty air of Bogrest.
Herbalist right now? Or was that the
Sure.
woman we saw
Think she-
earlier?
Yeah, the one we saw
Yeah.
earlier was the herbalist. I think she's probably still finishing up her prayer.
Okay.
Where were
We can
Valencia.
go there after she's back.
We were in there for like how long? You say? Like maybe like half an hour?
Yeah, you were in there for a decent amount of time. You could check.
Yes. Okay. All right. Maybe we should go check. Maybe she's done.
It shouldn't take 30 minutes to pray. That's a ridiculous amount of time.
I mean, Catholics take an hour to pray every Sunday, so.
Oh, yikes. Couldn't be me.
Alright. I suppose if you want to knock on the door, you can.
Oh, okay. Sybil knocks on the door then.
I always, whenever we play, it's a common thing where it's like you guys walk right up to the building, and then I'm like, well, are they opening the door or are they like knocking?
We're just standing here.
Are they walking
We're
right
just
in?
like,
Are they just loitering out front? So, if you do want to knock, then say so. If you want to just try to walk right in, you can do that as well. But I just like to know.
We're just-
I would
Alright.
like you to assume that I'm loitering until I RP open the door.
Exactly.
We'll sit here for like a long rest worth of time, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm knocking on the door.
Alright, yeah, 8 hours later, you knock on the door.
Take an 8-hour rest soliciting in front of this person's house.
All right. Then, if you would like to knock on the door, you'll hear a voice from inside say, coming in.
Sybil goes on in.
Tiny.
Quite lovely.
Small.
Shrunk.
A gigantic woman.
All right. You make your way into the herbalist's shop. And from what you gather from your surroundings, it is also her house, because there's a bed in the corner. There's a fireplace lit off to your left, and she just kind of stands near it and turns towards you and says, hello. Glad you did decide to stop by.
Yes, we spoke with the innkeeper, and he did not have any valuable information about the people we are looking for,
Oh,
unfortunately.
Sorry to hear about that.
It's quite all right. What kind of wares do you have?
Yeah,
Well,
what kind of wares do you have?
I'm an herbalist, so mostly herbs. Is there anything in particular you're looking for, or would you like me to just sort of show you some of my wares?
Take us through them.
All right.
Yes, please tell us about all the things we cannot afford.
Except Murdos.
Speak for yourself.
Murdos could probably buy the inn if you really want to.
In particular, I've actually just mixed up a new batch of healing potions, as well as some antitoxin as well. So those are nice and fresh. You can see sitting on one of her tables a small flask, square in shape, with a red liquid inside of it.
Can I pull out my
Yeah.
the red flask you found and ask her?
You pull it out, and as she sees it, she says, "Oh well, see, you've already got a potion of healing."
Well, actually, we found this and we don't really know what it is, so we want to know if maybe you know.
Well, she just said.
She takes a look at it just sort of to make sure and says, "Well, that looks like every potion of healing I've ever seen."
All right.
Glad Wits isn't going to poison himself then. Oh, speaking of poison, how much is the antitoxin?
That's 40 gold. It
Okay.
is one of the more pricier things I have. I apologize. They're rather difficult to brew up, and the herbs can be hard to find.
Of course. Alright.
Anything else other than healing and antitoxins?
Well, I have a large assortment of things. I have, some candles if you wish to buy those. I sell glass vials, flasks of oil if you want those. I actually just gathered a fresh batch of red clot as well.
How much for the oil?
1 silver for a flask of oil.
How much for a vial?
Glass vials are 5 gold for a vial.
I think I'll pass for now.
No
You
worries.
said that the oil was 1 silver.
Yes.
All right. I'd like to take maybe 1 flask of oil.
All right. She grabs it from her crates and hands it to you.
Just kind of puts it in his bag.
Thank you very much. I sell all manner of herbs. I know some folk use them as sort of ingredients for spells, I suppose. So I sell all manner of other herbs as well, but that's a bit of a long list.
Do you sell
Okay.
other spell ingredients other
Um,
than herbs?
Well, whatever I can find. Are you looking for something in particular?
Do you have any blood?
Not on me.
Draven's just staring blankly.
Everyone does.
What what sort of blood? Like an animal blood?
Oh, I haven't read the spell in a while. I'm not sure. Just any type of blood, really.
Well, I'm afraid not.
Shame.
What do you do, Draven?
Excuse me, what?
What sort of spellcasting do you do? I've never seen you use one.
Yes, I don't like doing it often. I prefer flexing my martial capabilities.
Oh, right. then.
Perhaps maybe next time I'll get my own tent.
Oh, by the way, the innkeeper mentioned that his daughter had some concerns. Can we find her next door?
No, she's a little more south in the center of town. She'll be in the general store.
Okay, thank you. And Sybil, realizing that she is broke and cannot buy anything, leaves the store with a friendly wave.
All right, thank you.
Let me know if you do get any blood in.
As some of you go to turn away, I guess the last person who's still standing here, Martos, she says, hold on. Those the people that you're looking for, are they dangerous?
It seems so. Yeah, they killed an old man for no reason.
Oh, I see it all. Sounds like horrible business.
You still wouldn't happen to know where they're at? The semi-location?
Well, I know that they're not in town, but I might have information that could help you.
Well, please do tell, yeah.
Well, Rakiri just told me to mind my own business and not get involved, but if they're dangerous, then I want them gone.
I'll act like I just assumed I'd never talk to you. Safe, don't worry.
I can tell you some information that might help you, but I need you to do something for me first.
What will I have to do?
Well, there's an herb out in the swamp that is very difficult to gather, and, well, I can't do it by myself, but maybe you four could.
A little skill, you get it. I need to know what it looks like and what it is, and if I touch it, it's gonna kill me.
No, the plant itself isn't harmful. Just sort of purplish leaves. It's quite easy to spot amongst the foliage, but it only grows in the basin up north in the swamp. And well, the basin itself isn't safe.
Like how? Like what will I have to look out for?
Well, that basin is King Taka's domain.
I don't know who King Taka is. You need to explain. He has a funny name.
Well,
He don't sound very scary.
it's what the folk around here call massive beast. Haven't seen him myself, so can't describe him for you, but anyone around here will tell you stories of how dangerous it is.
You want the leaves or like the whole plant?
Just as much as you can pluck.
Got it. King Taka. You know nothing about him, just that he's a huge beast.
From the stories, that's all they tell me. From what I understand, most don't survive a run-in, and most who do are quite injured.
I say somebody has to survive. The stories get told. Okay. I shall find you some purple leaves, ma'am.
Thank you.
Always. Hey guys, we're gonna get some purple leaves.
Huh?
Purple leaves.
What about them?
I'll explain more when we get out of here.
Well,
There's a funny man called King Taka. Apparently, it's a huge beast. We gotta get some leaves to get some information out of her, so we can find our people. It's a whole list
Okay.
of things we gotta do.
what?
It-
So the leaves are purple.
Leaves
And
are
that's-
purple.
What you know about them?
That's all I know.
Okay. That's enough, I guess.
It's all I needed. So now this
So
King Taka.
she has the information though already.
It seems like yeah, but in order for us to help her, we gotta get her something.
And you didn't threaten to chop her in half with your axe.
No, she's kind of pretty, and I kind of crumble over pretty girls. So come on,
Mm,
go
alright.
get
I
some
was
purple leaves.
almost proud of you there, Martos.
Shouldn't be.
Alright, well, there hasn't been a lot of purple-looking leaves here, so
Well,
Maybe-
it,
maybe
they
it wouldn't be
only
that hard.
grow in the north. The purple leaf she's looking for only grows in the north swamp. And apparently there's a King Taki. King Taki. Taki. There's a king who's not a king.
alright, I
Dick.
see. But what time
Yeah.
is it right now, like, Jay? Like, what? Is it, like, midday or
A little after midday.
a little after midday? Hmm.
I say we ask around about King whatever.
Yeah, perhaps
figure
maybe
out
we
what the
should...
hell that is.
Perhaps maybe we should just gather some information, and then maybe tomorrow we can go for it.
Great. So, who do you think would know the most about a giant bog monster named King? King what now? King Tut?
King Taka.
I believe he
call
said
it King Taka.
Kentucky.
Kentucky. We're looking for Kentucky.
Alright, we're going to Kentucky.
Let's go.
First Florida, then Kentucky. Maybe we should head to the general store and see if there's anything known there.
Oh, yeah, she did mention something. I wonder if King Taka is what she was worried about in the first place. All right, she said middle of town, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Spin around.
Onward bound then.
Find the oldest, soggiest thing you can find and ask them.
All right. You make your way back towards the center of Bog Rest, and that's where we'll call the session for today.
Word.
Hey,
Off to Kentucky.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't expect to lose that contested roll, especially with what you
Oh,
rolled.
yeah, I already
That was
accepted
awesome.
defeat.
It
I
was
am
fate.
so glad Draven lost that contested
Me too.
roll.
Me too. Yeah.
Honestly, like Draven losing contested rolls or any type of like speech check is very fun for me.
I'm looking at the stream, Jay. Yeah, pretty much. That was nice though. That was good. Good stuff.
I didn't mean to jam you guys up too much about the goat thing or the ram. It's just Draven had a reason why he was doing that.
I kind
Oh,
of
we know-
think
yeah, we
you
figured.
did that
Just
because
Witch was already concerned about having to sleep with you in the first place, and that just put him on edge even more.
I understood what you were doing, Luna.
Thank you.
I thought it was really good. I thought that was good roleplay. It also I really appreciate having a chance for Sybil to argue and roleplay that too.
Hell yeah. It's great. You all did
like-
great.
I like how Sybil was pretty tame. Then the second we see, what was his name?
Jellica?
Jellycat.
Jellycap just sprints up, and I like how she sprinted up so fast that Jay literally moved Wits back to put Sybil up front. That was great.
The secrets of Jellycap shall be uncovered. Just not paying
Every-
attention.
Every time I pass, I'm just gonna roll a nature check.
She really wants to figure out what it is. Yeah, she like sounds like a jellicle cat.
Do I know what he is out of character, Jay?
Nah.
Okay, because there was something similar in our campaign, but not that size,
But not Jellicat.
and not that smart either, if you can call him smart.
He's vibing.
Hey, you don't know if
Jellycat-
those things are smart.
He's
Guys
living it.
never
Maybe he
talked
just
to him.
doesn't. Maybe he just doesn't speak that well. He might could cure cancer. Who knows? If cancer exists in this world.
A dark thought.
I mean, it might.
Darker than Mardos walking around with a dead sheep on her head.
I
I
keep
can
Oh,
work
forgetting.
that
God.
out. I want
We keep glossing over that fact now.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, guys, they just accepted me.
See, this is what happens whenever you retire your characters and they get older in the living world. Jay messages you every now and then, and you have to make con saves, or your character gets cancer.
That's not true,
That's
by
it.
the way.
That was the joke I was thinking I'd made before, where it's like you're just walking along, and then Jay's like, "Hey, can you roll a con save?" And then you fail it, and you just get a heart attack and die.
That's horrible.
I was disappointed in that roll though for stealth.
That was, yeah. I thought
Oh,
it
it's
was
so
beautiful.
bad.
I was like, oh,
I was
Look
like,
at him
"Oh,
go."
+7? All right, he's got this."
I mean, he's going to be confident regardless what he gets, but
True.
yeah, I really didn't expect that. I mean, I got like a +7, and I just rolled terrible.
I mean, fortunately, it wasn't necessary, but
Yeah.
the guy's probably like, "What the hell is that guy doing?"
Basically, yeah.
He's very poorly trying to hide himself.
Don't worry, if I stay alive, one day my stealth modifier will be so high that even if I roll terrible, it'll still be okay.
I love the awkward wave between Draven and the like Dragonborn old
He's
guy.
like, "Hi." do you need something? Are you okay?
I also love how like literally Draven and Mardos are like the most terrifying like figures ever. Oh my god, Mardos especially. They're just like a really intimidating group.
hey
We're
guys.
just trying to find more and more ways to get them to have more friction. It's like more.
We bicker like toddlers. That's what
Yeah.
is happening.
Draven's wary of Sybil as well. I rolled an insight on your intimidation last session whenever you did thaumaturgy.
Oh
So
yeah.
like the dude or whatever, and I'd failed my insight, so he's a little worried about what you're capable of.
Yeah, Sybil doesn't actually know what Draven is, spoilers. But she just like she was just very annoyed about you questioning, I guess, her decision to euthanize a rotting animal husk.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, Witch doesn't know either, but he's definitely on edge. just seeing like with the whole thing with the ram too, and then like I had mentioned to Jay last night, I had considered making Witch buy another tent just for himself
Oh god.
because he was on edge about it. But I think Jay said that there's only 2 in the general store's inventory anyway.
True.
Draven got dark vibes. That's it. He's a little emo.
Even if he wasn't Mardo, seems like he would have hated him anyway.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to do my little ending spiel just so that those who want to
Yeah.
filter out can do so. But it doesn't mean that we have to stop talking. So the next stream will be Friday for more Seas of Sand. It feels like ages since we've done Seas of Sand, so I'm looking forward to getting back to that. And that is at 7 p.m. Eastern as well. So tune in. It will be a good time. I think they're itching for a fight, so I think they're just gonna try to fight the first
Yes.
NPC they see.
Oh god. They all die in one go.
They're just gonna start fighting a beggar.
Speaking of Seas of Sand, if you're okay with it, Sybil, I wanted to show the art that you made.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Great, thank you. All right. Now, so this is some art of our Valbella from Seas of Sand.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, I love it.
Very, very incredible art.
A crop of a bigger piece I made as a commission for her.
Oh yeah.
That's really good. I like that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And we were saying that Cecilia's definitely in the lantern.
Yeah, he's like spying on there, flirting or whatever the heck.
Nice.
All right.
Suits
Oh.
also commissioned me for a different one too. So I'm working on that as well.
I'm glad that you are getting some commissions because your art is great.
Yeah, thanks.
I was also going to show the new symbol as well. A little bigger so they can see it.
Sybil 2.
2.0.
Simple 2.0.
Nice.
I would die for her.
I approve of the fangs.
Yeah. Eldritch plant child. I was very happy to give her some pupils because I kind of just want to make her more expressive. And the solid black eyes were making that hard.
I like the pupils that goes with it.
Mhm.
She looks so jolly.
Yeah, I like
And the
it.
fangs remind you that she's a tiefling too.
The horns didn't remind you?
I mean, it's because the first one looked a lot like, kind of, I guess, softer and more innocent, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, she's kind of a demon. Like that one kind of shows off a little more.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I wonder if Mardos. I really love the visual image of Mardos just going everywhere in a giant, like, just giant ram's head.
You should
Right.
definitely try to like redo
I
your
saw it.
the
I
habit.
have to.
It's
Yeah, I
all
have to draw
Yeah.
one now.
If you're gonna go around with
Otherwise,
it
we're gonna
everywhere.
forget it there.
They'll have her goat head.
I bet that NPC was very happy.
I mean, if we run into any
Mhm.
like bandits or cultists, maybe I shouldn't try to sneak in. Maybe we should just have Marcos walk in and
I
befriend
I
them.
belong. with
No,
them.
Mardos
Hey guys.
runs up, grabs her great axe, and it starts like chanting like the Tusken Raiders from Star Wars before running at them.
They should have advantage on my intimidation. No one will see a
Draven
goat head running at
definitely-
them.
Oh. Yeah, between Draven definitely not being a you know what, and
I don't know what you're talking
Mardos having the giant skull and Sybil having the infernal thing, like we are pretty set for intimidation.
And we got our friend Wiz with us.
I'll just wait until I get invisibility, and then I'll just disappear whenever y'all do an intimidation roll.
Just poke them in the back so they get a little bit
Throw
more
the
afraid.
deuces.
Yeah. Just, you know the gif of that guy making the peace sign, then like slowly disappearing. That'll be Wits.
I was thinking of exactly that.
Yeah.
Every combat engagement just gone. And then he comes back at the end. Good job, guys. I thought I was big brain trying to use the ray of frost on the water. I thought it would more.
Does shape water? Shape water does something like that. You can freeze it. So
Yeah,
if you
shape
ever
water
get
you
the
can
cantrip-
freeze blocks.
Yeah, shape water is a good cantrip to pick up if you want to like manipulate water.
Well, fortunately, whenever we level up, I'm supposed to, when I choose School of Illusion, I'm supposed to get Minor Illusion for free, but I read today that if you already have it, you can just pick whatever cantrip you want. It doesn't take a slot. So, or it doesn't count towards like your maximum cantrips.
What do you got right now?
I have Message, Minor Illusion, and Ray of Frost. The one I was considering was Frostbite, but I hadn't come to a decision yet. So,
Are you going for a theme, like damage type thing?
kind of like a mix of like, I mean, I just want to have Frostbite as another like That one doesn't. It does some, I think, in terms of damage, but it's good because it weakens the next attack roll. for that.
Yeah, frostbite's not bad by any means. I was just curious about like if you were, primarily going frost damage or if you just were open to whatever.
Well, any damage that I'm going for is going to be kind of like ice related because of one, of story, and two, so I can have a plot reason to not pick fireball.
Smart.
And then but then like other than that, it's just going to be like kind of like just random like other cantrips that probably won't be the best for combat, but it would just be really fun to have, like message.
Don't worry. I've talked to him about diversifying damage.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Like, I was
I know.
curious.
I'm just teasing because I thought that was where you were going.
No, I like themed characters. So
I do
that's why
too.
I was going to try to suggest some things for him, like if he was picking a theme. But yeah, I mean, Shape Water, that could fit with like that as well. It's a really useful cantrip if you're not looking for another damaging cantrip. But if you want to grab another damage one, which is always good to have too, then yeah, go for Frostbite for sure.
Yeah, I was looking too. I just as like out of spite, I wanted to get a cantrip like light or something like that because which is the only one who doesn't have dark vision. So,
That's true.
so whenever we walk into a cave, y'all three are just gonna walk in, which is immediately run to the wall.
If you are looking for another damage cantrip, Chill Touch is always a good one, and that doesn't stray too far out the theme. I mean, it's necrotic damage, but
Yeah.
it can kind of go along with cold a bit.
Was
It's
he,
not
like-
too polarizing.
The good thing for like me shooting damage ones is that it's kind of filtered out since I want them to be kind of ice based. But there are so many interesting other ones that aren't really damage based, but you could really mess with people. And
Yep.
so that's why I haven't chose any yet.
All right. Let's let them be surprised at what you pick. Not your party members. I
Sure,
mean,
yeah.
chat.
Yeah. I haven't come to a decision. I've just been looking through it.
I, for one, am just so excited to finally be able to use Wild Shape. Like, ugh.
Speaking of, there's not a particularly good time to do this, so we might as well do it now. But level up to level 2 for next session.
Hey,
Really?
Nice
Yeah.
segue,
Nice.
Sybil.
It's not exactly where I imagined it, but if we do it any other way, it'll be likely happening in the middle of a session, which is annoying and grinds the session to a halt. So I'd rather just do it now.
All right. Oh yeah, and we discovered last night which this has 4 spells at level 1. I don't make the rules.
By the way, have you seen stands? People leveled up once.
No,
in
they
their-
just keep running around and not fighting anything. I'm teasing. Their campaign is great, but they just don't need to, so they haven't.
Yeah.
Is sort of the
They
mentality
give off the
behind
vibe
it.
of them not necessarily trying to avoid combat. It seems like they accidentally avoid
Yeah,
it.
they're not. They're definitely not like aiming to avoid all combat. It's just sort of how the way things have worked out.
Yeah. Now
Um,
for the next session, they have chosen violence.
I know. Yeah.
I need to see,
marginally a bit more of a beating now. Nice.
we need to see if my thing gets fixed when I level up,
Yeah, we'll have to see.
or I can just roll with 4 spells at level 1.
Anyone taking Detect Magic, please?
Psh, who needs
I
it?
took Druid.
I
crap.
hit things with a stick. So
Who needs it? Detect
needs
magic? Who needs it? Right?
You just need a higher arcana and you're good.
Oh, God. Granlow suffer.
Arcana checks and detect magic are not the same thing. Detect magic will be much
I
more
know.
useful.
Yeah, I know.
It's one of the most used spells we've ever seen on this channel, so that's why I'm joking.
I can assure you, I will use message more than any other cantrip or any other spell or cantrip rather.
I mean, I can take Detect Magic as a ranger, but it would be very nice if one of the full casters could take it. Just saying.
Okay,
Now you
I
got it.
can get 2.
Let's
Okay, I have
let's
one
discuss
more
this
spell
off
slot.
stream. I'm just gonna wrap up.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about it
We're
off
still
stream.
alive.
Okay.
But thank you everybody for watching. Again, the next stream will be Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern for Seas of Sand. So tune in if you are available. It is always a good time with that group too. Other than that, there might be a bit of mixing around of some of the sessions the next week just because of some busyness. So some dates might change, but I'm not quite sure yet. So I'll be talking about it on Discord and I'll tweet about it too. So the Twitter is down below if you haven't seen that. And those in the Discord will see my announcements as well. Other than that, we have World Anvil link for more information on the lore of the homebrew living world. And if you miss a VOD, check out the YouTube channel because I archived them all there. And you get to see all the thumbnails with the nice art. But other than that, thank you for watching, and have a good night, and I will see everybody on the next stream.
Well, good night.
Bye bye.